Hey guys, welcome.
Well, thanks for clicking on the live stream. We got some crazy stuff going on. We got lots of good topics talking about shelter building, natural tinder as compared to some of the man-made tinders out there, along with other various bushcraft talks. So, some stuff around downtime and stuff like that. So I'm gonna appreciate everyone that's came in so far. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, check us out if you can.
Killer Whale, thank you so much for the $2 super chat from Tyler. That's actually a sticker.
Absolutely, thank you so much. I gotta do some testing real quick. There we go.
You hear me good, Tyler?
Yep, I can hear you good now. Had to turn the volume up a little bit. Sir, man, put a trap on someone's hand while they're sleeping at a campsite. It would wake them up. Yeah, that would definitely wake someone up. I'm going to run through here real quick and give a good hello to everyone. So first off the bat, we have Sooner Man. We have Trail Trash Outdoors, Waypoint Outdoor Adventures, Stone, Stye North, good buddy of mine, Killer Well, good to see you. Noodles 1980, how's it going? Damon's 85's in the house. RIG Outdoors, Riverbend Longbow Outdoors, Chausler, Jason, John, Keep going up, scrolling up through here. Looks like that's all I see that's in the chat for right now. I want to thank you guys all for joining us. Like I said, we have some special guests tonight. Hopefully they can make it. We're still, it's like a last minute waiting thing. So I want to thank you guys again. Like I said, hit that like button and let's get to talking some topics, huh, Mark?
Absolutely. Let's smash that like button. Share this out. Let's get everybody in here because tonight is going to be the night where you could see some ultimate epic things. Okay, that's just not coming from me and Tyler are going to do it. But if some people show up here tonight, we're going to see some epic things happen. So you want to share this out. You want to tell all your friends, all your buddies, because you're going to want to do that.
Absolutely. So some of the topics, like I said, we're talking about today is going to be fire sources and shelter building, more on the bushcraft side of things. Yeah. Oh, crazy. So shelters, Mark, what have you done and what do you like best when it comes to building shelters?
I've already made just your standard lean-to. I stole that from my good buddy Stein North that's in the chat. He has some great videos that you can see about that. I've also made a combination of a cabin lean-to, which I really do like. That one already has a wood stove in it. It is great to stay warm in. You can open up the flaps on the inside. Great way to get the outdoors and stay warm at the same time. I've made some snow caves. I've made some my regular, like you saw. I had my tarp up and I had my hammock in there. So we've got that one. There's so many different types of shelters that we've came up with already. So it's a really cool thing. While Tyler's coming in there, Trailer Trash, great to see you. Blake, good to see you. Sty, good to see you. Damn, Sames, good to see you. Chelsea, good to see you, buddy. Everybody's experienced some internet problems because of this so-called blizzard storm that has came down and hit everybody. And look who showed up for the chat. You see that? Moon, my favorite person.
My chat's always running quite behind. Oh, Moonface 5, how's it going? Thank you for coming in. So on the bushcraft topic of shelter building, I think my favorite would be an A-frame. I love the shape of it, of course. I love that it gives you lots of coverage and all different sorts of elements when it comes to cold weather or even in the summertime in the hot heat. But super shelters are very nice too, as we can see behind Mark's picture there. Some of the super shelters that he had built. That's what I plan on doing. I'm planning on doing a bushcraft super shelter series here within the next couple of days. I'll be going out into the woods and trying to build one of those. I have built a super shelter before. I just had my own little twist on things. It wasn't really quite traditional, so I'll be working on that. And that's going to be prepping me for when I come up and visit Mark here in another month or two for our 7-day winter survival we're going to be doing. You want to tell the folks about that?
In February here, we're going to take some of the southern boys and we're going to introduce them to the northern boys. And we're going to come up here and we're going to do a 7-day extreme camping. And we're going to see what everybody's made out of. Last year in Wisconsin alone, we had 132 inches of snow in February. And at that particular time, we had minus 30 to 40 without the wind chill, which is going to make things really interesting. So what you see behind me right now is the shelters that I have at my bushcraft camp, which is going to be our base camp. And from there, these guys that come up, they're going to choose if they want to add on to the base camp or if they want to go and start something new. It's up to them. It's going to be limited food. We have to, I'm hoping that the creek is open for that portion of that to get water out of it. Otherwise, we're going to be melting snow. We're going to do everything the traditional way of doing things. We're going to try to keep it traditional because these guys are set up to do, they have all that high-tech gear and they have all that other stuff. We're going to try to go back and bring it in a notch, and we're going to go back to the old traditional way. And we're going to do the basic fire starting with not some fancy stuff. We're going to do some of the traditional stuff that I make, and then we're going to try out Tyler's stuff because he's got some really good stuff he's going to try out. So we're going to do some, tinder bundles. We're going to have the bird's nest. We're going to have all that interesting stuff so you guys can see that, and then we're going to put it up against the other stuff and see how it works out. It's probably going to win, but we're going to see.
Yeah, we have a question from Jason. Is there an efficient way to attach a garment strap in the middle of a heavy-duty tarp, sewing glue, or etc.?
Actually,
you've done this, Mark.
Yep. Take a rock, one that is smooth, round, and you stick it up in there and you make yourself a little ball. And then you take your string and wrap around there. That way it doesn't tear the tarp. You don't have to put a hole in it or anything like that if there's no kind of grommet in there. The grommets that I've used, they work all right for replacing them and cutting a hole in there, but eventually they're going to tear. They're not like the factory. So that is the best way that I found a way to do that.
Absolutely.
Trapper J Outdoors.
What's going on, Trapper J? Yeah, that too, and it depends on the tarp that you get too. Obviously the more money you spend, the better kind of quality you're going to get. For the longest time, I was rocking, some tarps that you can get at your local Walmart or Menards. And it wasn't until I got in contact with DD Tarps, and they had sent me like an actual Bushcrafter tarp, and I started using that, and I really noticed the difference when it comes to the materials that's being used, the non-rip nylon and the ripstop technology that they have in their tarps. So
now when you buy those,
those are going to be a lot better.
Those kind of tarps too, they have so many. I think mine has it has 3 layers of different tie-offs on there. So I got a roll right in the middle. I got a drop for the doors on both ends. You can do so much with these tarps. That's what I'm saying. If you're just going to go buy a Walmart or the big box store tarps, the rocks were great. If you want to get a good tarp that you can last, go out and spend some money and get those tarps because the tie downs are a lot better. The hooks, the loops, everything is there for you can make so many configurations with that tarp. It's unbelievable. And they last forever.
The DD tarp that I have, this has 19 different attachment points that you could do. We're talking crazy amount of different configurations from doing, a traditional overnight shelter with like 6 points, or you can get crazy and use pretty much all of those 19 tie down points and come up with a crazy configuration. It just kind of it goes with as big as your imagination wants to go.
Yep, they're really good.
Yeah. And that's another good thing too, is like for a lot of people that go out, and I was telling this to Mark the other day, when it comes to the paracord, instead of buying the paracord that you would find normally in a camping aisle at Walmart, if you just go over to the hardware section to where the locks and the other tools and hardware section, you'll find paracord over there. Same amount of feet, same 550 for about $3 cheaper than what you would in a camping aisle. So there's a little tip for you guys if you guys have access to a Walmart to get your paracord or camping outdoor stuff. Thank you. Farm Fanatic, how's it going? Thank you for coming in. That's another good channel right there, guys. Anyone that's into farming, definitely check him out. I think you're probably close to around 10,000 now, or did you hit it already?
I think Farmall's past that. Homesteading.
Or is it 11,000?
Yeah, he's way past. I was going to say he's way past that. There's my buddy.
At the ramen tonight, guys. Nice, Chaucer. Tarps are one thing for when you go out and do a shelter. Those are good for if you're doing like a 2-night to I would even say, up to like 5 nights. But if you plan on doing like an extended stay somewhere, what is nice is knowing and having that knowledge of building a shelter that you could stay in for, weeks at a time. If you have access to property or, a place where you can build one at, I would definitely recommend that because, like I said, the options are just unlimited when you go out there. And the sources, I mean, realistically, what you would need would be just an axe and a saw to do these kind of shelters, maybe some paracord. If you wanted to get, technical, you could add a tarp over and just try to use, the most amount of resources that you have out in the woods.
Not only that, Tyler, is that, I love my hammock. I love my tarp. You can do so much with them. They're great. But I'll tell you, a permanent bushcraft camp that's made out of wood, you got to remember, too, is you're out in the woods. How many places can you find that doesn't have something overhanging it? Or a tree that's 60 feet. Okay, you want to have something out there that can hold that, because if something falls, and it can hit you. It's going to make a huge problem if you have just a hammock or a tent or a tarp out there. A permanent shelter or a lean-to or something that's made to take that abuse. And this is something that I learned from Sty where he's at when he used to do his stuff out in the woods. You want to make sure if you look by my trees are set back far enough, but if something would break off a branch or something from that height, I would feel it if I was laying in a hammock. I would be right down to the ground, possibly really bad injured. So we got to look at that too. If you're not in an open field somewhere where that thing can be steady and you don't got to worry about it, you always are worried about what's going to come down and hit you.
Absolutely. That's another thing too. Like I said, I used to be more a tent camper. Whenever I would go out camping, I would use a tent. And then my buddy really got me into the whole hammock camping, which anyone that's ever hammock camp, especially your first time, it's kind of like your first kiss. You never forget it. It is, in my opinion, I think it is so much better than the traditional tent. So that's another thing too. A lot of people don't, if they watch videos off of YouTube or they watch movies, no one really explains, checking over your head before you set up. Because I was just out there for our wallet survival challenge that I did. And the first thing I did when I was looking for my shelter was I was looking to see what was above me, what would fall and potentially, hurt, injure me, or even worse. So that's another big topic too that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. And that kind of just goes with, understanding and knowing your surroundings. Know what, know the area that you're at. And for someone like me, and I know a lot of people too, it never hurts to send a message to at home or a friend or something. And just kind of give them if you have, some of the newer phones where you can share your location. That's also something that, I would recommend for anyone that goes out there and does this kind of stuff, because you never know, what happens out there. And another thing too, when you're setting your shelter up is, look at the ground around you. And if you can see any kind of big game tracks going through there, or some kind of tracks that you can see that goes around your camp, I would suggest, maybe moving it, because you never know, depending on your location, what could be coming and going.
Actually, I want to take care of this budget bushcraft. Paracord, yeah, it stretches a little bit, but you can always put in a stick and you can tighten it by wrapping it around, and you tie a little loop in your lines, and you can hook that in there, and that'll take care of your tension. And you remember, like 550 cord can hold 550 pounds. You can stretch that stuff out like you wouldn't believe, and it's going to stay tight. Using a tension stick does wonders. If you have that issue where it does loosen up, that's one way to take care of that problem. Both of my shelters behind me have been up for 4 years. Most of it is tied, and actually the logs that are in the front are actually interwound with paracord, and they're still standing. Everything there is actually as you see it right now. So if you do it right, paracord is very strong.
Absolutely, too. I hear a lot of people that do some kind of a bow drill. They're always talking about the materials that you use for your bow drill typically is paracord. And what they say happens is after 3 or 4 times of using it, that paracord gets loosened up. So I'm glad you brought that up because you can definitely, tighten that before you go ahead and start using it. Because I had the same issue too. When I first started learning how to do a bow drill, I would use that and I'd have issues with the cordage getting loose. The spindle wants to go flying out. So
the other thing, if you watch Sty on the bow drill, when he's done with it, he releases the pressure off the bow drill. That keeps your string to its natural position and your bow drill.
Yep. Did you want to go ahead and send him a link?
Sure.
You still have it?
I don't have that ability.
How did I send it to you last time?
Hang on, I got it. I'm going to copy it over here.
I'll say because every time I try to open up another tab, my computer wants to start freezing up. Trail Trash Outdoors says you can find 6 feet of similar wrap for $3 at Rural King. I've never heard of that. It's always best to go to your local outdoor sportsman's buildings. I can't even think right now. But no, something that sells outdoor stuff, you're going to get better quality. But for some places like for me, it's about an 1.5 hour drive into town to go to any of those type of stores. So usually I'll have a list about a mile long every time I go in there and trying to figure out what I want or what I needed.
It would probably be quicker, I'm telling you, if you just post it in a link and as soon as Sty grabs it, take it out.
7:45. Sean James. He has been online since 7:45. He has been online. I don't know. I kept checking my messages. Like I said, it's he said that he will swing in when he has the time. That's the last message that I had got from him. So, he can pop in, at any given time. So I keep an eye out on the panel that I have down below to make sure that if I see him, I'll throw him up. That's the thing too, is trying to set this up. This was kind of last minute thing too. I had messaged him. I want to say last night. Was it last night, Mark? I gave you a call.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah. So I messaged him last night. So it's kind of a last minute deal. We'll see. Like I said.
Yeah, Tyler,
just going off of what
you just put it in the copy your StreamYard link and then put it in the chat and then pull it as soon as.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'll post that link there. That way we can get some more knowledge from someone who's been out here doing this for quite a long time. I don't know what's going on there.
I have no idea.
Here we go.
There you are. Make sure to delete that link.
Remove. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
How is it?
Hey, it's good to see you guys. Good to see you. Yeah, I've been listening straight from the beginning. I was waiting for you, in fact, like everybody else. Yeah. Anytime we can get together and talk bushcraft, then you bet I'm going to show up.
Absolutely. I thought they were debating on whether to send him a link. It's all child, so I didn't know it was about Sty. Oh, yeah. So, Sty, the topics tonight, which is pretty much anything bushcraft related. We wanted to talk, more in depth about shelter buildings, what kind of shelters. As I was talking to you about in your live stream, we was talking about man-made and all natural tinder.
Right. Great topics.
I think what we need to talk about too is paracord, because I think there's a lot of misconception about paracord.
I see you were on that topic before I came up.
Yeah.
Mark, you get a blue star, it's just like in kindergarten, you earned a blue star, because I never mentioned that once in any of my videos about bow drills, about the reason I unstring my bow drill when I'm done.
That's common sense.
I pack my bow drill away with the paracord lightly wound around the shaft of the bow. And when I'm ready to start my fire, I unwind it and I string my bow. After I get my fire going, unstring it, wrap it around the shaft of the bow, because it keeps the true tension of that paracord much longer, much longer. I can go a full season before I have to actually do a rewrap at the base of my paracord. And I always make my bows with a Y at the end, so that I actually can bend my bow and slip that loop over the end of that Y, just like I'm stringing an actual bow and arrow.
And that's where
and actually I did that once with a 35-pound draw junior little long bow, and use that to start a bow fire, because at 35 pounds of tension, if you're using a good solid spindle, you can actually do your spindle wrap on that hunting bow and use your hunting bow as your bow. But what do you do with a hunting bow? You unstring it when you store it, because everything's stretching. If it's always strung, it's always under tension. So yeah, you get a blue star. You put what's together all on your own.
What's a blue star? I mean, I hear the gold stars.
Well, okay, I'll give you a gold. We'll give you a gold.
Actually, guys, I knew that Sly was doing this because I could always tell what was going on, and when he'd pull it out of his pack, it was always wrapped up, and you could watch him do that. Okay, but also when you use a recurve bow, you never ever leave a recurve bow strung with a string in it. You don't. So it's the same exact thought process behind it.
Yeah, it takes all the tension out of the staves.
Yep. You want to keep that at its natural position until you're going to use it, and then you're going to have that nice and taut that you want.
You can actually lose 5 to 10 pounds of draw in 6 months on a recurve if you leave it strung for 6 months. You can lose 5 to 10 pounds of draw on it. People don't realize that. But yeah, same with paracord. I've made bushcraft ladders, and I've done square lashing for the steps of the ladders, and properly frapped them. And I use a toggle, wrap a toggle in your paracord and give it as much of a pull as you can. Take all the stretch out of it, and with a good frap around your square knot, your square lashing, those steps, that one ladder I made out at camp, that was there 3 years after I made it. And you could climb that thing, and the steps didn't creak, they didn't move, and the paracord was starting to show weather. And so I was getting a little nervous, thinking I'm going to have to restring it, because the paracord will eventually rot, exposed to the weather forever. But for 3 years, it stayed tight.
Same thing, Tyler. What I saw, if you go look at Zach's videos with his bear camp, he's up in the air. That's all tied with paracord. And if you look at how he did that, he's exactly doing the same thing that me and Sy are talking about.
Yeah,
you're using a stick instead of the string, because you can't. When you start pulling on a string, it's going to start cutting in your hands. But if you wrap it around a stick and you start pulling on it, you'll be surprised at how much more tension you can put on it. There's a big difference.
Yeah, if I'm making tripods or anything, first thing I do is I go out and I just look around, and I find myself about a thumb thick chunk of wood, hardwood preferably, and I cut it about 8 inches long, and I stick that in my back pocket. And every time I got to tighten paracord, I just do a couple of wraps on the paracord and use that handle to tighten it up. And because by bare hand, even with a pair of gloves on, you are not going to get it as tight as you can if you throw a toggle on that line and give it a pull. Yeah.
Right. Jason and Trail, yeah, he is using bank line, but you can do the same pressure point, so you can pull with that with paracord and do the same exact thing, because you're gonna be using them intertwined in the paracord.
I've built shelters with nothing but bank line. number 38 bank line, in fact, and build a whole shelter with it. I mean, I'd lash 6-inch round log to 2 trees as my ridge pole for a shelter, and I use bank line for it. You use a little more because the strength of the bank line doesn't match that of the paracord, so you're using a little more in length. But my gosh, you can carry 1.5 miles of bank line on a spool that big around, So if you want to go cheap for lashing, order some bank line. Order a couple of spools of bank line, and if you're going to be out there and doing weekend bushcrafting, you can use bank line. You don't have to use paracord. I like paracord because of all of the applications it has. There's so many things I can do with it. Look at that. Yeah, see, that looks like the bottom of my pack. I mean, I always got so darn much paracord sitting around. It's ridiculous. I got a Walmart shopping bag that's full of small ends, what I call small ends. They're 25 feet or less. There you go. Have you seen that new line? In fact, I'm ordering a spool that's got the 3 additional cordages in them, and it's rated for 620. It's got a copper wire in it.
I heard of it, but I've never seen it.
And you can pull that copper wire out and use it for snares. It's got a fire-starting jute, paraffin wax infused line of jute through the whole piece of paracord. You buy it 100 feet at a time, and I'm trying to think of what the other odd cord was in there. There's another one, but
I think it's like 7 different
strands.
That.
The only downfall. What's that?
It's got like 7 to 9 different strands in it, right?
Yeah, it's 9 strand.
9 strand, yeah.
I got
I'm pulling it. Know what jupe is? Yep. In the chat, you guys know what jupe is, because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of fakes out there, but the traditional jupe is it's not woven with an outer liner. It's just like baler twine round up. You can pull it apart and you can actually make a bird's nest out of it. Jupe is different than just regular twine or anything like that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I know what the third line is. It's 25-pound monofilament line in it for fishing. So you could take let's say you're building a shelter and you're cutting off 20-foot chunks to do some square lashing. You can take each of those 20-foot chunks and pull that jute line out of it, and you can pull that fishing line out of it, and you can pull that snare wire out of it, and now you've got it back down to 550 paracord, the original 550 paracord, and it doesn't collapse on you. It still keeps its shape, and it's got the 550 strength to it. So it's pretty cool. I haven't ordered it yet, but I got it in my cart. But it's $30 for 103 feet of it. So it's not cheap, but for everything it offers, I want to give a spool a try. I gotta give it a try.
Nicholas, did you want to come up here? I got the link too. I keep forgetting I can post it right here in the chat. I've been pretty fortunate not to have to deal with too much.
While he's doing that, Sty, I wanted to tell you that we got our wireless mic system. I'm using half of it right now. So
good.
My wireless headset. They are good for 174 yards beyond the camera. And,
really?
Yeah, and one of the transmitter is only this big. Oop, here we go. So I forgot we're over here now. And then the other part is just your normal transmitter that plugs right into your camera.
Just goes in the mic jack on your camera, right?
2 headsets, and then 2. I'll actually show you the box while he's doing this.
I was going to say, can you send me message me a link to it somewhere?
Sure. So you actually
I'd love that for out in the field, especially.
This is what it is. It's a Elvox Com.
Uh-huh.
And you get 2 headsets because one of the things like I wanted to do when we do our 7-day challenge is I want to be able to hook up with me and Tyler at the same exact time. We can have the same conversation.
See, now that's what I want is for interviewing.
I can run 2 mics on my Canon now, so I can run my Rogue, plus I can run the headsets. And if you don't want to use the actual headsets, they give you these jobbers here.
Clip-ons.
The clip-ons, yep. So, and they pick up, and the guy that tried them out went 174 yards, and he said I had enough. He said he was going around trees and everything else. And it seemed to work pretty good. So what we're going to do tonight in the conversation is I'm going to go into other rooms of the house and talk and see if you can hear me, because I live in a brick house. What better way to test this out through brick?
Right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Charles Fox, that's where I'm talking about. Titan's the ones that got that product, by the way.
Guys, don't forget, share this out. Hit your thumbs up. Tell all
get the shares out there.
Be right back.
Get them shares out there. Get this spread out. Be loading this place up.
Yeah. I've been talking with another group chat that I have on Messenger. I've been experiencing really weird subscriber drops. I've been dropping, I think it was around 70 people a day. And then I saw that YouTube had put out that they had something going on with their analytics,
right? And
that the subscriber count should be right today. So my numbers are all right, but I've been having just nothing but issues with stuff like that going on. It was actually there's been a few people actually understand.
It's frustrating because it's been right across the board. I lost 42 in one day. And it's just like, and you go to analytics and it doesn't show me where I lost the 42, because usually it'll show you what video you lost them from, or did you lose them from a playlist or someplace? Where did you lose them from? It wouldn't show me where I lost them. Well, then I saw YouTube's article on it that they're aware that since December 24th on, that their analytics is going through and purging everybody, and they can't figure out why it's doing it. Even YouTube's going, yeah. So YouTube's in a panic too, because they've got 2.3 billion people going, what's going on? So they're now YouTube's saying that they're going to get it corrected and get us our subs back, get those counts back. And so now I saw mine came up. Mine went from 28.8 down to 27.3. And it just like, wow, whoa, holy smokes, I lost 150 subs. How the heck did that happen? No way.
Right.
Not when I only gain 10 subs a month. I'm not going to lose 150 in a day. They said they're working on it. So I guess, again, we have to be, I think we have to be patient with them this time, because at least they did disclose that it's their fault, that it's not the creators. So.
Right. It's kind of scary in a sense, too, to know that they have this AI system without any knowledge to anyone that actually works there can go off and do that. So that's why it's really important, as the subscribers, they make sure, even if it's maybe once a month, if you haven't been getting any notifications from some of your favorite YouTubers that you watch, just to make sure that you're still subscribed, make sure you're still clicked on the bell, make sure you get all those notifications coming in, because many times YouTube kind of does this kind of stuff, and people will be like, well, I haven't seen you post any videos. I don't know why I'm not getting it. Well, that's kind of works, Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, I have to say that bedroom background you got there, that room is bigger than my original sty shack. That bedroom is bigger than my original sty shack, the whole shack, everything I had.
So cozy. I definitely felt right at home with it.
All right, guys. One of the things I want to say tonight is
thanks, Chaucer.
Absolutely, Chaucer. the GoFundMe link that I just posted in the chat right now, that is for Tyler to get up to me for our 7-day challenge. Tyler is laid off, and we want to make sure that he is comfortable leaving home and being able to come up here and do this. So
help fund them get up there.
Yep, the link that's in there right now that you see for me is actually for Tyler's GoFundMe account. So if you don't want to pay the 30% to YouTube,
go right to the GoFundMe, please. Do you have a PayPal account, Tyler?
I do, but someone from overseas in China. Someone from China. Someone from China tried to send a bunch of garbage. Yeah.
You got hacked in your PayPal. Yeah.
Yeah, they sent me like $100. I didn't accept it because I didn't like their products. And then they filed a claim against me before I could do anything about it. And yeah, still working on that one.
Oh, fun. Yeah. So everybody, hey, I won't say it the way Mark did. I'll just say, hey, if you want to help Tyler on that trip, just go right over to that GoFundMe. That's the place to do it. That is a place to do it, because then he knows for sure that's to help him on his trip.
All right, so we got a problem here because Blake is saying it doesn't. Okay, Blake, I just clicked on a link and I got no problem.
I'll give it a try too. Make sure. It takes me right to it.
Yep, takes you right to it. So anybody that's interested in there, this is going to help Tyler out, and maybe we can, with the extra that he don't spend on coming up here, he can get a new computer.
Oh boy, yeah. What he doesn't use on the trip, we expect him to put it aside for a new computer.
He needs one. I'm actually ready to send. I'm ready to send him my normal one because that's better than what he has, because he's just pushing that baby right to its limit.
I thought about that. I've got one here that's about, that machine's got to be close to 10 years old. And I'm pretty certain it's more. Well, I did a couple of streams with it and had no issues. And I'm thinking that might be even stronger than what he's using now. It's a dinosaur, but
the one I got now is an i3 processor, and every time I even open up my internet tab, I'm pushing around 100% CPU. So
that's what's nuts.
Yeah. We've been messing around with it, trying all different. Probably on his last leg.
It's an old man. It's in worse shape than I am.
All right, guys. So one of the things that I want to try as soon as I get on here to Tyler's page is we're going to take these new mics that we have. I just want to make sure that I can hear your conversation and stuff like that, Tyler. And we're going to go and we're going to walk through the house here in concrete walls, and we're going to see how good this works.
Cool.
Because I know, once I do the test with these, I already know that I did a lot of research on them. They're really good from the outside of things. But before I say, hey, guys, I really condone these mics and stuff, I think they're good because, I'll tell you what, you can't get mics, wireless mics for under $100, and they're so we're going to see how this works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what did that set you back?
What?
What did that set you back?
$79.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you gotta send me a link. You gotta send me a link. I mean, for crying out loud, what I've got, I can get 12 feet away from my camera. That's it, because it's hardwired.
All right, guys. So can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, we hear you fine.
I can hear you. Can you still hear us? Barely.
Hear me, Sty?
I can hear you.
I'm outside in the porch, so I just went through 3 rooms right up to the door.
Oh yeah. If you were in direct line of sight outdoors, if you were outside in direct sight, you can make that probably 3 times that distance and you'll come in that good. Yeah. Oh, it'd be nice to have a mic where I can move around and camp and talk and have the camera going. Oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is, Tyler. After you download all your video and you're going, oh man, the volume, you can't hear me. But there's a bird farting in the tree right next to my camera. You can hear that, so I can't crank up the volume.
Okay, right now I'm standing outside in a blizzard with the house and everything's closed up.
I can hear you fine.
We can hear you just fine.
Yep, you're just fine. You ain't supposed to be out in that crap unless you're camping. Get out, get back in.
Well, that's one of the things too that we're going to talk about tonight, Sai, is tinder, making sure we can get a fire, because even though we'd all like to make sure that, you know, we have our pride and everything else, we definitely want to have a backup system for when it comes to being able to get a fire going, because I've heard people, and I used to be one guy, might have, you know, I can get a fire going in any kind of condition using only what I can find out in the woods. Well,
yeah, and
I kind of put my...
Yeah, and I was glad you brought that up on my panel the other night, you know, but I have to, because you know how a variety show is. Everybody's all over the place, so we couldn't really get on point with it. And I don't want anybody to, hopefully people that watched it didn't get me wrong. When I go out under any conditions, I always try a primitive method. I try to use all natural material other than a ferro rod to get a fire going. But I've got backup too. I've got artificial fire starters in my pack and pocket. You always, you know, don't be stupid. You know how many cavemen died because they couldn't get their fire going? They froze to death. You know, we're not cavemen, for crying out loud. Be smart. Have a good artificial fire starter with you. Something that you know has been time proven. Now, like the black and whites, that's a kit. For crying out loud, get one, put it in your pack, and if you never use it, God bless you. But if you ever get in that spot where, and I've had times where I've just, for the death of me, I could not get a fire going and keep it going. I might get an ember, but I can't get the nest to ignite because it's so wet and humid. Everything's soaked, and you just can't even get because the minute you take a bird's nest out of wherever you've kept it, and it hits that open air, boom, the humidity soaks it. It's wet that fast. Now, people don't realize that either. They walk around with bird's nests inside their coat. I got to keep that dry. And now I want to start my fire. Right. And they pull that out of their coat in cold weather. Now it's body temperature, right? They pull it out into 0 degrees or 10 below. Guess what happens? It frosts right up. There's instant moisture in that bird's nest the minute you pull it out of that coat, because it's been soaking up your body moisture inside your coat, and you're taking it out at body temp into cold weather. What's it do? It condensates, yeah. And it's tough to get an ember going in it. But yeah, see, I'm pro both ways. There's a lot of times in my camps, I pull a big lighter out and I start my fire because I'm hungry. But I do want to keep my skills honed, so I do both. I try to practice the primitive skill first, and if I'm having too much difficulty, then yeah, I'll go to a modern, more conventional fire starting method. And by the way, Mark, your mic works great. Yeah, you got to get me that link. Yep.
I'll tell you what. I'm
really
impressed.
I don't really like the.
I could hear myself on your guys' live stream. It was breaking up, but you got to remember, I'm in the far end of the house. I walked all the way outside into the blizzard outside, and my phone kept saying, trying to grab, and I was offline, online kind of thing going on. So I was kind of happy I could still hear some of it. And like I said just now, is that I'm going through structural.
Right.
And if you're out in the woods in line of sight or even wrapping around a tree, you're still going to have an amazing contact with your camera. And I will put a link into the chat so you guys can check this out and get it for yourself if you're wanting to do that. It is a very not very expensive, but it's a lot better than what I'm not going to spend $300 for a set of wireless mics.
Sounds like a good bang for the buck, Mark.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tyler, you were going to...
The price, absolutely.
Yeah. Tyler, you were going to expand on the fire starting stuff.
Oh, right. I heard a chat said that they don't like the touch of cotton balls, which I don't either. But when it comes, I was talking to you last night, Si, about I was making some fire starters, and this is kind of what I came up with. I was going to shoot a video on it, but it's really hard to shoot a video indoors. So what I have here, this is a cotton ball that has been layered in Vaseline. If you don't have Vaseline, we have, let me see. There you go. That's kind of what I was using.
Yep. Petroleum jelly.
Yep. And then what I did was I took some of my Sherpa sticks, my Fatwood Sherpa sticks, and I shaved those off really fine, kind of doing like some feathering. And I would take the cotton ball that's been dipped in that, and I would just kind of sprinkle and kind of just go around in circles and get all that fine feathers on there. And then I would wrap it around with some jute right here. And then I would take your standard crayons, and I would melt those down in that wax. So it kind of holds everything in place. And then plus, depending on the color that you picked, kind of have a cool little different kind of color of a flame. And that can be done very cheap. I mean, these balls you can get at the dollar store for $1. Same with the Perithium jelly. And then what I did to add, and just to make sure everything's good, I kind of put roughly 3 to 4 drops inside this bag of some hand sanitizer. Shook that all up, and these babies right here are good to go.
Yep. The everything you described and how you put that little fire starter together. I saw a fella, and this wasn't on YouTube. I saw him in real life making these, and he was doing basically the same thing. He would impregnate the cotton ball with petroleum jelly, and he had Fatwood shavings that mixed into that cotton ball, and he'd roll it in those Fatwood shavings. It almost looked like you wanted to eat it. It looked like a cookie with roasted coconut on it. But what really caught me was when I first walked in on him, he's tying kite string, just white string, kite string. He's tying kite string around these cotton balls. And he's got like a 4-inch tail of string on each cotton ball. And then he'd get that petroleum jelly in there, and then he'd do his thing. And then he'd pick it up by the string, and I didn't realize he had a double boiler on his stove. And he's got a bunch of paraffin wax in there, and he dips them. One real quick dip. And he just kind of swings it around in the air and sets it on a cookie sheet. And he does every one like that. Each one is soaked in paraffin. He gets out to camp, and he showed me how to use one on a pie pan. He lit it in his house. All he did was crunch that paraffin wax and kind of peel it open. A couple strikes with a ferro rod, and that thing fired right up, and it burned for 8 minutes. I couldn't believe it. it. And
we actually have a link in our, or not a link, but we have a video in our down below, way back when, the paraffin wax, making it out of the egg cartons and wood chips and lint and everything else. So if you guys are looking for something that is going to give you that, and that burns for 15 to 25 minutes. So if you're looking for a way to light a fire in a wet environment, that is a really good video to check out. And
that's the whole key is those fire starters, they replace your tinder. They are your tinder, because grasses and certain barks and other natural materials for tinder are just too wet to work as tinder. They just smolder. So you're using an artificial tinder, and if you gather up, you go under the trees around you, and you, especially the pines, find a lot of small dead pine twigs and just break them up and make yourself a small wood pile. That tinder burns more than 10 minutes. It'll dry those twigs out, and they will become a good fire for you to put the bigger, damper wood on. And that's the whole key, is having that very first tinder fire that's going to hold long enough to dry out that kindling and get it going.
You catch that link, Stein, that I put in the chat for you?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I already posted it on my shopping list, so I can't lose it either.
How's it going, hiking deep? Good to see you, buddy. If you buy a yellow fire log and soak it in 5-gallon buckets of with newspaper and water, using fire mix and make balls, best cheapest fire starter ever. Huh? I have not heard that one. As a Boy Scout.
Okay, you're soaking in a 5-gallon bucket with newspaper, but what are you? Oh, it's just water. Okay, how long does it take for it to dehydrate then with the water in it?
You must be making like a paper mache out of it.
Right, but how long if those balls are too big? Boy, it's got to take a long time to dehydrate it, to get the water out of it. Because I just see it as like you've got a bunch of fat wood that's soaking wet. If you've ever lit in fat wood that's soaking wet, it's and sizzling because it's got too much moisture on it. I'm just wondering, how would you? I could see taking that, maybe if it's like a paper mache, take a cookie sheet that's maybe about 3/4 of an inch high around the edges, and make a sheet of it and cut it into bricks, because it would dehydrate real fast instead of balls.
Absolutely.
Instead of round balls.
Swish the water out our hand.
In your hand, yeah.
Do not squeeze as much water out before letting it sit to dry. I would imagine so, yeah. You'd want to get all that water out and let the drying process start. And Mark has been bragging about the amount of fat wood that he has up there, and he's trying to convince me that the fat wood that he has up there could potentially do some of the fire kits that I got, and some of the ones that I'll be getting from.
Hold on a second. I don't have to convince anybody. You got another person in this chat that has the same Wisconsin fatwood as I have.
I just tell people, don't take my word for it. Come on up and we'll find you some fatwood. You harvest it, and then you give me the review. Because then you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me if you don't believe me. But exactly. I'll ask you to go out and harvest some on your own. So you can't say, oh, yeah, he swapped that out with some of that sweet stuff out of the Carolinas that they got, No, harvest it yourself and test it and review it yourself, and then tell me if that's good fatwood or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, because like I said, I have fatwood here. Very sporadically, I can find it depending on where I go. So I get to use some of it, but not as much as I would like to. Mostly I can find like birch bark, and even then that's still pretty hard to come by. Mostly what we have up here is just solid oaks.
Yeah.
So as far as natural, I try to save and experiment with what I can that's natural with birch bark or fat wood. certain kinds of pines. So
See, now
I do
one,
have a really good.
no, go ahead. No.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a really good buddy, Paul Corona, who owns Black and White Fire Starters, who sponsors my videos for those, and he keeps coming out with some really amazing product. So no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, I always definitely carry a kit with me. Just even the last time I was out in the woods, I was just out there. I wasn't really shooting a video. I was just kind of out there messing around with the camera and stuff. And it had rained like for the last 2 days. And no matter what I tried doing, I just could not get a fire going. So I had to resort to that fire kit that I had in my bag.
I see hiking
Let's
deep.
see,
That's why I said hiking deep. You don't have to take my word for it, because I know, if you come here and you harvest some and then you compare it to yours, then you can give a review next to yours. And I wouldn't say yours isn't the best, because I haven't got any from Northwest Arkansas. You could send me some. I'd be good with that. And you know what? To this old man, the best Fatwood in the world is the one that got you that fire on a cold, rainy night when you really needed it. I don't care where that Fatwood came from, but if it got you that fire, that's the best Fatwood in the world. Yeah. One thing that I know a lot of people have pushed and said that, it makes a great fire starter and this and that, are mature cattail pods. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Cattail, if you want to deal with all the mess, for one thing, try. I don't have a problem with taking the cattail and mixing it into a bird's nest if I'm doing an ember fire. I don't mind mixing it into a bird's nest. I do mind inhaling the crap and having it blowing all over camp while you're trying to use it. And to me, and cattail it's worse than cotton, fluffed up cotton. It just goes whoop. Whoop. And if you got a tight ball of it, it smolders, and you got to keep poking it. You got to babysit it. So I never recommended to any of my clients. I showed them, but I never recommended that they ever depend on cattail for their fire starter. There's so many better ones. If you got cattail, you got other things nearby that are better.
All right, so I'm going to switch over to cameras, because right now what I'm doing is I'm cutting up some Fatwood for Tyler. Some good old Wisconsin Fatwood. So I'm going to switch over to my other camera here, and we're going to see, I got some that is pre-done, and we're going to go to that one. And then I've got some that is fresh that I just shaved off, and we're going to go that one. So give me a second here while I switch cameras.
Just remind you, if you guys haven't hit that like button, definitely hit that like button, share it out, let people know. What we're trying to do is kind of build a full bushcrafters or even homesteaders, preppers, survivalists, and just get people in here. And because I think a lot of people watch some of their favorite YouTubers or people that they look up to, and they don't really get any kind of explanation on what they're doing. So people might have could get hurt, or they might be doing something the wrong way. Like I said, I had a subscriber tell me that if it wasn't for one of the videos that I started knowing that I was using the spine of my knife to strike a ferro rod instead of the blade itself. So that's the kind of stuff that we like to sit in here and talk about and let people know.
It should be enough. What do you think, Sty?
Yeah, sure. You get to do something I can't do anymore in my place.
I don't got fire alarms going off in my stuff.
Right. Well, and it doesn't send 80 other people out to the parking lot in the middle of a blizzard.
All right, I gotta go get my ferro rod.
I gotta back up a second on this Chat, quick. Yeah, hike and deep. He says, I'll do it. Tyler knows that I'm honest. Hey, hike and deep. I love your channel, man. And by the way, yeah, that's why I said, you know, we're all, so many of us are from different regions, and the I can honestly say, and anybody can say different, but I can honestly say that if you're in Wisconsin and you live in Wisconsin, be happy with the Fatwood we have in Wisconsin, because you're privileged to have it. Is it the best in the world? Nah, I see. I don't ever see anything as being the best in the world, because you just don't know, because you're not there. You're not in other regions, and
so this is
your pile together.
Yeah, this is that push thing. This is the reason why me and Sy were talking about. This thing blows your stuff away. So
yep, that's what I don't quite like about it is that it'll push your little tinder pile out. It blows it all over the place sometimes. Travis, last time I did that inside, I lit my living room on fire. Last time I did my bow drill in my apartment, I live in a yeah.
I got that all over the place.
You're just making a heck of a mess.
I am. I'm making a big mess here. I'm going to start the paper on fire, this big boy.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you're going to...
That one's going.
Yep. It's a good thing you can buy those notebooks at the Dollar Tree. I wonder how many he goes through in a week.
So that was just shaved off, but I'll tell you one thing. That don't use... We tried this, which was a pre-shaved at the time, and then we put it in a container. That was this far left pile. It did not work. So the fresh stuff that I just did was on this other part here, and it did work. So don't shave it and put it in a container. You need it fresh.
See, and that's another advantage we have up north here that people don't have. Well, I have that advantage for sure, and that's making Maya dust out of shaga. You put a little pile of Maya dust down, one strike with a ferro rod, you got an ember. You don't have flames, you got an ember, so you got to have a bird's nest ready to roll that ember into. But that Maya dust is instant. All it needs is one spark hit it, and you got an ember. So I carry a pill bottle of Maya dust around in my pack. And
Tyler, the other night you were talking about them ferro rods that are soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
don't know if that was a really good test, but we will show you that when Tyler comes up here. We're going to go and we're going to show cutting Fatwood, and we're going to show taking it out there. We're going to have some good fresh stuff, because I don't know if it was the paper that lit up or if it was the Fatwood. I'm going to guess, because I can see the black smoke coming off it. That was Fatwood. Yeah. That's how you're going to tell it's Fatwood.
Yeah, you get the sooty smoke off the Fatwood.
All right, so now we can.
And we were talking about burn time too, wasn't we, Mark? You said that some of the Fatwood up there can burn for quite a long time. I think I might actually try to set up a little fireproof box here in Sherpa sticks that I have from Black and White Fire Starters, so you guys can see how long those burn for. Even some of the 4-inch ones that I have, they burn for, I think, roughly 10, 15. And I have that's about 16 inches long, and that thing will burn for quite a long time.
The thing with what the Fatwood is going to give you is it's going to give you natural burning environment. so you don't have to buy it from the store, because sooner or later, what you have in your pack is going to run out. Fatwood won't. So that's the key to it. Fatwood will light that nest that you have, that you can put the nest to whatever you're going to light for your fire. So if you've got your small sticks, your medium sticks, stuff like that, that's where the Fatwood will shine. It's not going to burn longer than anything else. It's not going to burn anything else. But what it's really going to shine on is the natural, something from nature.
Yeah, and it does provide a good hot fire. It tends to burn hotter than just dry wood. So and
it was like Riverbend Longbow was saying,
the nice thing with Fatwood too is if you're in damp conditions, again, we're back to damp conditions, it's not as affected by dampness as any other wood. So it's going to continue to burn.
And here's an
Ty is not right about everything. Correct is always correct. And he's going, LOL. Thanks, Trail Trash. You know what Ty prides himself in being is a wise old man. I'm wise enough to know that I can be wrong often, but I can learn every day too. You know.
Here's another key point with Fatwood, so you can see it's really penetrated in there. But if you listen to this, it sounds like normal wood. And then as you get out here, I'll listen to this end.
Yeah.
It's got a different ting to it.
So dense.
And that's how we find it, is we can go up into the trees and you take some kind of ceramic. If it's a knife, I use my silky saw. It's the best thing. And I'll start tapping around, and I can tell right away when I hit Fatwood, because it gives that metallic sound.
Right. Yeah, Lee Ralph, you're right. See, and that's one thing I would love to see is what do they use for fire starters in Scotland? Eh? You know, what do they use for fire starters where there are no true stands of timber? There are no pines. There are, they can't, in an area they can't find flint and steel. What are the fire starters in these remote places that don't have the pleasures we do? You can come up with 100 different ways to start a fire in our neck of the woods in the U.S. here, but think of some of the other places in the world. How in the heck do they get their fires going?
Right.
Well,
I watched an African guy with a hand drill use a pile of turds for his nest. He got his ember and he rolled it into a turd, and he kept blowing in that turd, and then finally that turd got on fire, and he had a fire. And what was he burning for fuel? Bigger turds. So it's pretty interesting on how many different items you can actually use, and it makes sense that a person learned that. And I see joking around about our beards here, but it's no joke. I watched an old guy take his beard and he cut about an inch off of the bottom of his beard, and he used that for to get a flint and steel fire going, and his beard hairs, they burned fast, just poof. But it was enough to create an ember, and from that ember, then he was able to blow a fire, get a fire started with a bird's nest. And
unless you're actually living totally off grid and you're using a bucket to wash your clothes, you have a natural starter in your dryer. That's lint.
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing I don't like about dryer lint is all of the synthetic materials that we put in our dryers. It's full of polyesters, nylon, other things. So what I do is I try to wash all my cotton stuff together, and then I steal the lint out of the cotton runs.
That's why you got birch bark.
Yeah. Well, if you have birch, which we do, I got more birch than I could dream of. I love birch. People hate hiking with me.
That's the thing. Like Riverbend Longbows was talking about is we don't have, like Riverbend Longbows was talking about, we don't have a whole lot of pine or any kind of sort of fatwood out where we live. I just live slightly north of where he lives, and it's slim pickings for the fatwood and birch bark as well. I've had more luck going down south to kind of where he's at to find the birch bark.
Right.
So, like I said, it's that's the thing when it comes to, and this is why I like doing these bushcraft podcasts, is because we hear about it, we talk about it, you see it all the time, but not everyone has that same the same environment. So,
like Lee Ralph saying, no birch here, mainly just cedar, and I love cedar too for fire starting. I like to find a old growth dead cedar, and I break off the outer bark. And anybody that's dealt with cedar knows you tear the bark off, and it's just stringy behind it. The inner bark is just stringy. I take the knife and I scrape that stringy bark off, and I'll throw a bandana down to catch it all, and I'll just scrape it off the inside of that dead bark, throw the dead bark away, then scrape it off the tree, bundle it up in that bandana, take it back to camp, and I keep it close to my campfire to dry it out really good. Then I process it and I get it down. A lot of it turns to powder, but it'll fluff up. And it's to me it's cedar cotton. You can hit that with a ferro rod and off it goes. Cedar's another one that I just love. Yeah, makes awesome bird's nests. You're right, Chowser. It does.
And Tyler, when you come up here, you're gonna go home with half a birch tree because we have so much up here. That
hey, if I can get down there to see you for one day, Tyler, I'll see if I can't put myself a little gift bundle together for you of some natural stuff up here. Maybe a birch tube stuff full of good birch tinder and some cedar tinder and a chunk of chaga. And
this is what Tyler. This is what Stye's talking about. Watch what this will do. This is paper birch. There you go.
I was going to say, you need a second strike. You better not.
That's how fast.
Now is that yellow birch?
Paper birch will go. And
white paper birch.
That is right.
White birch. Okay.
Yep. That's 4.5 years old. It's been sitting in my pouch.
Yep. Hey, Dennis, Canoe Adventures. Great to see you over here.
I was lucky to find some yellow birch bark where I live, like I said, down south. And I honestly, I can't tell you where the tree is. I found it on the ground as I was walking out, and everyone thought I'd found pieces of gold because I'm over here freaking out like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found this. Like, I've been looking and looking and looking, found probably a good handful. And I've had that handful for like the last year. I've been kind of babying it.
I cleaned out the back of my truck one time after a camp, and I didn't have a choice. I put literally as far as I could reach around it bundle of birch bark and stuck it in the trash barrel because I just had nowhere to keep it. But I pick it all up when I see it laying there. I just keep picking it up. The whole back of my truck was full of it. I had to get rid of it.
My when we were cutting up firewood for this year, my son saw birch because there's a 12-inch limb in there, and every time I bring it in the house, he's peeling it off. He's like, "Dad, this is a great tinder bundle. This is great," And I'm like, "Boy, we got more than enough. We don't need to worry about it." But that's a cool thing about this is that you can teach them at a young age, and he's from watching me picking off the birch bark. He knew what that was able to do, and just by taking a normal knife and shaving off the front half of it, flipping it over, you saw how fast that took. It was just now.
Instant.
Yep. In my sty shack, I had a big wooden box that was just packed full of birch bark, packed tight full of it, and it was quite a long ways from my wood stove. I had a big rack full of kindling, then a rack next to that held all my big wood for the long fires in my wood stove. People would come to my shack and they go, "Why do you have all that birch bark in there?" I said, because I can let my stove go cold and it only takes me 5 minutes and I got a roaring fire in there with that birch bark. I get that birch bark in there and get some tinder on top of it. Within 5 minutes, I'm putting heavy wood on it and I got heat. And until they see you actually using that, the only thing with birch bark is it does throw soot. If it, don't put your pots or anything on your fire till the birch bark's burned out. And I do not like to use birch for cooking my food unless I split it and I only use the heartwood, leave anything with bark on it out of the fire pit while I cook. Because it's all, you get so much soot.
And actually, I tried that. I peeled off some birch bark and I split the innards and I actually smoked some food with it. It was actually really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The heartwood of a birch is excellent flavored wood, actually. Well, and we talked about that. You can make birch syrup just like you make maple syrup. And as a kid growing up, I loved birch syrup. It was good. It wasn't quite as hit in the face sweet as maple syrup. It wasn't as sweet, but it was good. It was really good syrup. It had its own unique syrupy flavor and all out of a birch. I always say the birch is the tree that couldn't decide what it wanted to be because it's many different things. It's just a tree that couldn't decide what it wanted to be.
It's food. It's got some drink in it, and it's medicinal.
Medicinal.
So many different purposes of a birch.
Yeah, and it's the mother for shaga.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, so yeah, it's a wonder tree. It's a weird wonder tree. Yeah, Fatwood puts off a bunch of soot too, Jason. You're right. I've done fires with Fatwood in front of my clients years ago, and they'd start laughing because my face would be all gray, and I go, "What?" And they go, "Oh, you look like you're dying. You're all gray in the face." And I touch my face. Well, then I'd have black lines. Yeah, and it's all with soot after doing 2 hours of fire starting lessons, using nothing but Fatwood and birch. So my face is just covered in soot. Yeah.
Do any of you guys know what sweet gum trees are? That was the question asked.
I know a sweet gum. I don't have any because they're all down south.
Right.
But yeah, there's other things too that when I learned down south too was you had shepherd's beard, or what do you call that back in the old days, Sty? The shepherd's beard, or what is that stuff hanging off the trees? Birds.
Yeah,
beard.
I've heard it called shepherd's beard for ages.
There's another really good way to start a fire that way.
Yeah, that's a fungus that is absolutely old man's beard. Yeah, that's another term for it. Yep. And it's another great fire starter.
But them are all things that in Arizona too. There's a different trick we use that for starting fires in Arizona. So every state is different. You're all going to have different categories. That's why we're saying learn your environment. It's so important. And that's what's going to be really cool about this challenge is these boys don't know the environment like I do.
That's a lichen.
Right. That's going to be the one of the hardest things to do is come from where I live. Even though I'm not terribly too far away from you guys, like I said, I mean, you guys heard, we don't have that source of Fatwood or birch that you guys have, and you guys just have an abundance of it. And then the weather too, I mean, we're just now starting to get what Mark has been getting. So in order to come out there and do any kind of, survival or camping outdoors, I have to get up my knowledge and do some background checks when it comes to coming up there, because it's just like, anyone that sets foot in a new set of woods that they never, you got to be cautious. You got to, remember everything, because there's been plenty of times that I've gone to some of the woods that I have around here, which are not big at all, but it takes that one wrong move to get turned around and lost in. So,
basic navigational skills is something everybody should have. And
right. I don't think that's a lot of what people talk about.
You know, a lot of people.
You don't hear it too much about people talking about it. Sorry.
A lot of people kind of beat me up back in my older days on my channel because I started a navigation series and I only did, I think, 3 videos, and then I quit. And they go, but we want to know more advanced navigation, mapping and more use of the compass and this and that and that. I said, you know what? Everybody says don't hit the woods without a compass. I can't remember the last time I took a compass out in the woods with me.
Nope.
I can't. I literally cannot remember. Yes, I can. I intentionally took a compass out to do one of those videos on navigation. I intentionally took it to prove my navigation using sunlight to start with.
And that's what it was. Sybil just put in there Spanish moss. That's the name that everybody knows about.
Yeah. That's real common name down south for that lichen. Yeah, Spanish moss.
What I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to clarify what Stai's talking about, is we have a myth up here too, because of our thick growth, is that the moss always grows on the north side of the tree.
Right.
I take you in 50 different spots in 30 seconds and show you that
where it's growing on the south side of the tree or the east side or the west side. And I always say the moss grows on the north side of the tree. Because if I can see it, it's on the north side of the tree. Yeah. Otherwise, as far as the compass goes, don't count on it.
And we have spots up here also that has a magnetic field. So you can go start walking, it'll port true north, and you start walking there, and that thing will start doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be walking the same direction, and all of a sudden it'll point due south. And here's a Sty story that I'm going to tell. This is going to be a Mark story. Is that I took me and Moon and her brother went up to the woods around here, and he had a GPS, and I had my military compass. And we're going through the woods, and it's getting dark out, and we're like, okay, we got to go this way. And his GPS is just all messed up. And she keeps saying, no, we got to go this way. We got to go this way. We got to go this way. It's going this way. And this is all just from Mother Nature or being a mom or whatever else you want to talk about, because she didn't have a compass. She had nothing. And she had never been in this woods before. But she said, no, we got to go that way. Yep. And brother's like, no, we got to go this way. The GPS is saying this way. So I pulled out my old military compass, the good ones, and it pointed in the direction that Moon said we needed to go. We started walking that way, and there's a truck, there's everything else. So don't always depend on those things that are full of tech, because they will not get you out of where you need to be.
Right.
You have to know your directions. You have to know what you're looking for.
And that's the thing is the more you're in the outdoors and the less dependent you make yourself on instruments to do things for you, the more honed your senses get. And I know myself, I can stand somewhere and I can actually turn in a circle and take everything in, and I'll go, well, I know that's generally north. I know that's generally north. And general, if you know what's north of you, all you need is general. All you need is keep going generally north, and you're going to run into this huge. It can be any kind of marker, It can be something in the landscape. It can be a tower in the distance. It can be a certain old pine tree. But if you have your general sense of direction, what do you need a compass for? The reason you use a compass in mapping is to try to land dead on to something.
Precise measurement.
But what it does is that tells you then that you don't need any situational awareness whatsoever. And we talk about situational awareness in gun training all the time. If you're going to carry a firearm, you need to be situationally aware all the time of everything that's going on around you. Same in the woods. It's got nothing to do with firearms. It's just got to do with your situation and all of your situational awareness, everything that's going on around you. And once you've practiced it enough, north, south, east, and west. And you'll lose that, though, if you panic. People panic, and the next thing you know, they're heading east when they should be heading west. And if you stay calm and you have good situational awareness and you know what needs to be where for it to be due north or due south, I don't see the need for a GPS or a compass. GPS and compass, like I said, is for putting you on a dead center point. When I'm out in the woods, I'm an explorer. Get me close to my camp, and I'm going to see things that are familiar, and I'll walk right into camp. All I got to do is get within a half mile of camp, and I know where the heck I am.
Hey, look at here. Skippy's in here.
I agree with that.
Hey, Skippy.
What's that?
Skippy's in here.
My chat's a little behind. What's going on, Kevin? How are you doing, sir? Have a good day as well. That's the thing too, Sty, is I don't ever really carry my a compass or anything like that. The good thing is with my phone, there's actually a compass that calibrates to move it. So for a lot of people that have like iPhones, that comes standard on your phone. But I know my north very well. I don't like to brag, but if I were to be dropped in the middle of a cornfield or something, I could instantly tell you where north is. So
Sure.
Based off of that, I can kind of navigate. Based on where I'm at, I'm pretty sure I can navigate to where I'm going. You know, I can find my way back because I have a good sense of my direction. But yeah, you know, I think people that watch those compass videos or they see people go out and show them how to use it. One of the best things I learned is about midday, right as it starts to get dark and you start seeing stars come out. By laying down and then knowing where where each star is going to give you a better sense of direction.
Yep.
Someone like me using a compass, it's hard. It's hard for people to kind of see that, you know.
Right.
You guys haven't seen it yet. I just dropped a link in there for the support for Tyler to get him up here to watch him go through the misery of a 7-day extreme winter challenge with me in northern Wisconsin. Sty's going to come up for a day to visit. So that link is in there right now. So if there's any way that you can support our good friend, Tyler, links there, help him out. If not, share it out. Do whatever you can to help get him down here so I can put him through the most misery he's ever had in his whole entire life.
Yeah, this is going to be...
This is the first GoFundMe I think I've ever seen where it's, please help fund someone be miserable. It's always please help fund this person feel better and that kind of thing. But this one's, hey, come on, help out guys who got to make this guy miserable in the outdoors.
Right. This is going to be a challenge, and that's what I'm looking for. You know, I can only do so much, but where I live, there's nothing really challenging about where I live. And we have the woods. I can potentially get lost and then become in some sort of danger. But other than that, we don't have mountain lions. We don't have wolves. We have bobcats occasionally. Other than that, mostly just coyotes. So there's no real danger there.
The occasional black bear that gets caught in a corn head on a combine about every 5-10 years. You see it all over the press. Somewhere in Iowa, black bear caught in the head of a corn picker.
I think that's really cool about this is I get to spend and meet a new guy and spend time with a friend. That's the cool thing about this is I actually get to spend some serious time with Tyler and get the stuff that we know, Sty, and pass it on, and that generation is going to know it from what we know down.
Well, that's it. That's it. Spread out our knowledge, share his knowledge, and the thing is being from different regions, we get to have these discussions, and we learn more because it's outside of our region. And see, that's where I benefited from ages ago. I used to camp down at the western side of White Sands, New Mexico, the foothills, the mountains running up through there. And so I got to do some desert camping and high country camping. So I kind of had a feel for it. I'm not that knowledgeable as far as desert camping goes. It's not something I liked. I enjoyed the fact that I experienced it, but I didn't like it. So I'm glad I live up north.
I don't like the sweat where I should be sweating from.
That's right. Yeah.
And you can always, when we're up here, we can always, if we're too cold, we just put more clothes on.
That's right.
Yeah. Take so much off.
Right.
Right, Mark, we live in a part of the world where we get to dress for the weather.
Yep.
We can dress down if it's hot. We can dress up if it's cold. So we get to dress for the weather. We don't have to put up with it. So, somewhere where it's just, I can't get any more undressed or they're going to arrest me,
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's the thing I like what you guys said too, is the knowledge that you can pass down to me. As I said many times before, I'm no expert when it comes to, bushcrafting, survival, prepping, anything like that. Like I said, I'm fairly new into this. I have a passion for it. I absolutely love knowing that I can take myself out into the woods and just anything that I need or that I want, I can make out there. And with some of these, older generations, like we lost a really good one, Morris Kahansey. That was very sad. He was when it came to bushcraft, and you don't see or hear or talk. You hear people talk about bushcrafting and wanting to sound kind of information to some of the younger folks like myself. What we know and what we learn is what we pretty much see off of YouTube or we read or hear about on forum sites.
Right.
So that's something that I truly cherish. Is any kind of information
Tyler,
and knowledge that you can hand down.
Tyler, that's awesome. That's awesome because I'm a firm believer that as a kid growing up and all of my exposure to the outdoors and all of my learning all came from old timers. Old timers, they didn't know any better. They just did the outdoors. That's what they did. And then as they passed away, I'm going, oh my gosh, all that wisdom that they had and it's lost. Then I had to stop and think, now I got to practice what they told me. And then their wisdom wasn't lost, right? So you hang on to what you can learn and pass it on to another generation to keep it going. And think about that. All these skills we're practicing are skills people were practicing hundreds of years ago, and in some cases, thousands of years ago. So the wisdom of those skills, it's not ours. It's not our wisdom. It's the wisdom of all those generations, the ones that were wise enough to pass it on. There's nothing I hate more than an old fart that's full of wisdom that sits there and keeps his mouth shut. And you go, hey, tell me some things about you and what you did and how you did it. And they go, no, I ain't talking. I ain't telling you nothing. That is one of the most selfish things in the world, is not sharing your experiences and the wisdom of the past that you were given. You don't send that on. And
see, that's the
Tyler,
thing too, is when
I'll learn just as much from you as you'll learn from me. I guarantee you, buddy. I guarantee you. I've learned so many things from people that were green at something, and I'm teaching them that. And then they go, that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. And then I ask them, well, what would make it work for you? And they'll show me a different method that I've never seen before. And I'm going, and you're the dummy, and I'm supposed to be smart and teaching you. You just taught me another method. And that's going into my archive. I'm going to use that method, So we never stop learning. I think we're all students, and one student has just had more experience than another. That's all it is.
And Chelser, the farmer from Survival, is good friends with Sty, and I watched him regularly. Lonnie is an awesome person with the bush.
Lonnie is awesome.
Yeah, that's a very good channel.
Lonnie and Connie told me that if I can ever get up there to them, they said, we got a spot for you. I said, you bet you got a spot for me. I'm going out to your cabin. They haul me out there, drop me off there for a week, and then come back out. We'll spend a couple days together, but just drop me out there alone for a week in your cabin. And it's pretty good because Lonnie said, well, that can be done. That could be done. I said, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Lonnie's a very wise man, and he's braver than
that
me.
Knowledge. What you was talking about when it came to the knowledge and about how some people keep their mouth shut about that.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge is something that's priceless. Sharing, the stuff that you've learned and acquired through, years of practicing, could potentially, save someone's life one day. Just by talking about doing this the right way, and maybe what you've been doing has been the wrong way the whole time. So, knowledge is something that's just priceless. In my book, that's what I think.
See, my partners with Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals, them and I had a whole different business perspective, I guess. And so it didn't last. The company didn't last because we saw it differently. They saw financial gain in teaching people wilderness skills, and I didn't see the finance sides. I wanted to make enough money that we could at least eat, keep a roof over our heads and eat, and have a little fun money, but otherwise price it so that the commoner can come and learn some things. And then they got mad at me because in our mission statement, I put the comment in there that we had one goal in the instruction portion of our business, and that one goal was to exceed the client's expectations. So you could show up with the highest expectations. Well, you tell us what those expectations are, and we're going to do everything to exceed your expectations, because I want you to leave feeling that now you can go back out in the outdoors and you don't need Sty with you. You can go out there and do it yourself. And boy, did that go a long ways with the clients. They loved that. They loved that. They get there and they go, holy God, we didn't expect to get it this pounded into us, that we'd get so much out of this in just 6 days. And yeah, they usually went home with quite a load of experience when they left, and a lot of dirty hands. Yeah, there was a lot of them that actually I always told them on the way out, I said, boy, I bet you guys can't wait to get to your first motel or get home so that you can get a nice hot shower. And it was amazing how many of them said, I wish I didn't have to go home. I want to stay. I don't care that I'm dirty. I want to stay, And
I always wanted to go up there by your side without you knowing what I know and who I am, and just go up there and kind of just do my thing. I thought it'd been really fun just to go up there and.
Yeah. See, and that was one thing I missed, and I wish this platform, you two guys, I wish we were all together when I started that business up there, because I would have loved to have drawn in a lot of the folks that are on this platform, drawn them in as special guests, or just tell them, hey, come on up and spend a week with us while I'm doing camp. Just hang out. I'll flip for all the food costs, and we'll get you the best campsite in the place. And I would have loved it. I would have loved having you guys there. And you just come and do your thing, and the clients can walk by and watch and say, what the hell's he doing? What's he doing? And go over there and be nosy with my friends out there just bushcrafting. I always said, if I ever hit it rich, I'd buy myself a full square section of land, and right in the heart of it, right in the middle, I'd build a nice big lodge with 24 rooms in it for my YouTube friends to come and stay if they want. It would be the new Sty Shack. But I'd put that one whole full square mile would be nothing but one big bushcraft camp. And I'd hire instructors that I would handpick, and I'd set it up on a perpetual annuity so that bugger would last for ages, for generations, and just make it a home for bushcrafters to just come. They can come and pay me $100 a week, and they can use the whole square mile to bushcraft on. They're not participating in any classes or nothing. They're just coming to bushcraft on the property. That's my big dream. If I had the finances, that's exactly where I'd take it.
That's kind of what me and Tyler at this
fishing and frontier survival. How's it going?
Is to educate people in the bushcraft skills, because not only is this homesteading tied into this, because a lot of bushcrafting and homesteading are tied, they're neck and neck with each other. If you're on a homestead, you have to be savvy at what you're doing, because otherwise you're paying through the nose to try to get things done. So you're always using stuff that's on the homestead. That is exactly what we do in the woods. The only difference is a skill set. Okay,
that's
we are doing gardening. We're doing raising of animals. We're that kind of stuff. In the woods, Sty told me a long time ago, is that if you're out there to survive and that's all you're there to do, you're not going to have any fun. But if you're there to thrive, then you're going to have a lot of fun, because then you can spend the time out there and you can actually see the beauty that the woods have.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Survivors, one of the keys is survivors, they want to go home. They want to go home. Survivors want to get it over. They want to go home. Thrivers, they don't want to go home. Gosh, dang it. I enjoy this so much. I'm comfortable. Everything's going good. I know how to eat. I know how to be comfortable in a shelter. I love it out here. It's peaceful. And I like company coming in once in a while, but I'm thriving. I love it out here. This is home away from home. That's thriving in the outdoors. Surviving is, God, I got to get out of here. Somebody's got to find me. I got to get out of here. And I'm one where if I ever got in a survival situation, my thriving frame of mind, even if I got to force it, is going to kick in, because nope. I got to make myself at home. And if someone happens to find me, if my efforts, eventually they find me, good. I may not want to leave by that time, but good. I do need to be rescued, but why go out there only thinking of making it 72 hours? And Tyler, you were talking about shelters earlier. That's the thing too, is I can't stand it when people say, "Oh, come and see this survival shelter I built." And I go out in the woods to see their survival shelter, and I go, "Oh my God, man. I mean, that's a pioneer's castle. What the heck? It looks like Fort Laramie. Yeah, this isn't a survival shelter. Forget. What are you trying to survive? Are the Indians attacking or something? I mean, it's not a survival shelter. That's a thriving shelter. You're building that so that you're comfortable and you feel at home in it. That's why you build a really nice lean-to and a really nice super shelter. They're not survival unless you've got it on a private piece of property and nobody in the world knows you have it. You make sure nobody out there knows you have it. Then it's a survival shelter if you got to bug out of town if something bad happens. Then you can treat it as a survival location. But the shelter itself is not something you're going to construct if you need to survive. Like when I busted my ankle up 4 months ago. If I didn't do that 35 feet out of camp, and it was 3.5 miles from camp, I wouldn't have been able to get to camp. It would have taken me at least 3 days to crawl 3.5 miles into camp with that ankle. So I would have just stayed put. And I would have tried to build myself something really comfortable to stay 3 days in. You just can't.
Well, see, that's the thing too. When it comes to survival shelters, is that people, like you're saying, build these massive castle-looking shelters. Now, survival to me, and in my mind, is a 72-hour period. You have 72 hours to, move on, to get rescued, or to get out of the situation that you're in. If you're out there building these, Mona Lisas of super shelters, think about all the calories and energy that you're burning building this great huge shelter for no reason. If it was a true legitimate survival challenge, you would not want to waste your time, your energy, your calories building something like that. You know.
Yep. You know what I now, and I wish these guys would have been on YouTube, but it's a group, a very small, tight group of preppers that I know, and they're homesteaders. All of them are homesteaders and bushcrafters. And what they do, and it's funny because a lot of them have outside jobs. You know, they're working all different places, and what they'll do is totally unawares. They're all in agreement on this, but totally unawares. One of their group members will show up at their house and say, "We gotta go. We gotta go. Drop, run. We gotta go." Well, I gotta grab this guy. No, we don't have time. We gotta go, and they haul them out in the woods. All of a sudden, they learn the importance of EDC in their vehicle or on themselves. Something you just grab by the door on the way out. And I thought that was so awesome how they practice their skills that way. And it wasn't so much to be prepared for the cut and run part. It was when you get there, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you get there? Okay, we got out of the situation. We're out in the middle of the woods. Oh, crap. Yeah, the weather ain't nice. We need a fire. Yeah, somebody want to work on a shelter? So they throw themselves right into the heart of the meat of the situation. They got to apply themselves to it. So I told them guys, I said, man, you should be filming this stuff, putting it on YouTube. They said, we don't want people to know we're doing this. Yeah, doggone it. There you go. Another one that doesn't want to share information. Yeah.
Yep. That's the thing too. It's always good to have a plan. So, if we're working in teams of 3, setting a game plan, if we're trying to do like a survival situation and we, each one of us has a task or a chore that we need to do, that alone is like half the battle right there in any kind of survival situation is, making that list up of stuff for people to do. That way stuff gets done. You can hold accountable for if something doesn't get done.
Right. Right. But, exactly. That's why. That's why I'd prefer to cut and run on my own and establish myself. And then if somebody comes upon me that needs a little aid, I'd rather provide that than try to do it with people that I haven't actually practiced with, because it's too easy. It's just human nature that most people, they'll do what they're told easier than they'll do what they should. So I don't like having to be a leader. It's just like, well, these things need to be done and I'm going to go do these things. Okay, hopefully the other person or persons say, oh, well, he's not doing those other things, so I'll go do some of those and you go do something, that they'll work that out. But if it's just me, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah.
You guys are awful quiet now.
Yeah, it got quiet. You got you. We get to see what you're doing with that knife. We get to see you, and we get to see your shelters all at one time here.
I'll tell you what, one of the best things in the world, if you're a bushcrafter, you're a homesteader, sharp knife.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen more people hurt themselves with dull knives than sharp knives. And I've got some people that are in this chat right now that'll tell you that they didn't believe me at first, that a sharp knife is more dangerous than a dull knife.
Or vice versa, you mean?
Yeah, vice versa.
Yeah.
Until they picked up a sharp knife and you're able to do what you're supposed to do with it.
Yep. You have that dull knife skip on something and take off a knuckle.
Yeah.
You have that. Yeah. That's like this. My neck carry, this little Mora carver. A lot of people, I'm amazed. People don't buy these Mora carvers, but I love it for a neck knife. And But that little Mora carver, people look at it and they go, Sty, take better care of your knife. You see the patina on that one, Mark?
Oh, yeah, here. Look at
That they see the patina on that knife. Yeah. Yeah. And it looks terrible. It looks terrible. And they say, oh my gosh, Sty, take care of that knife. And I tell them, you take care, because that bugger's like a razor blade.
this.
It may look rough. It look rough, but it's a carbon steel, and I ground the back on it, so it's great for fire starter. And it's so weld patina because I process everything with it, vegetables and meats also, food items, and that's what'll really patina your knife up. Slice tomatoes with that bugger and just wipe it dry. Don't wash it. You're going to get a patina on it because of the acids from those tomatoes. There you go. Sweet.
See, this is
Isn't that the one that comes with a striker?
Yeah,
with
this light my fire. So if you take the handle back in the back,
it's got the ferro rod in it. Yeah,
it's got the ferro rod. But
I got one of those buried somewhere.
that's the thing is Mora is a, for the price, a Mora is indestructible, and they're just awesome. So I got this one. I got Moras all over.
Yeah, me too. The other day I was trying to figure out how many Mora companions I got. I think I've got 7 of them still, and they're everywhere. I know I got 2 in my truck. I got 2 in my trailer. I've got 2 here in the house, so that's 6. I've got 1 right in my backpack. So I got 7 Mora companions, and then I got the Mora Bushcrafter, the expensive one. I like that. It's a fairly nice knife. Mora does have a full tang knife also. I haven't bought that one. I'm going to buy. I think I'll buy one someday. But I got the Mora carver. I've got 2 of these. And I had someone tell me, actually in camp, I was batoning kindling, for crying out loud. The wood I'm batoning isn't over 2.5 inches around, right? And I'm batoning it with my Mora companion. They go, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that with your Mora knife. That's not a full tang knife. You're going to bust that knife up. They said that knife won't last you 6 months if you keep doing that with it. And I said, oh, I only got 6 of them. So how many years of Mora knives do I have? So, and if I bust the handle off, guess what? All I need is a piece of wood, and I can make myself a new handle for it. So yeah, I always tell people, if you're going to, and our clients always got a brand new carbon steel Mora knife. The minute they got out of their vehicle and signed registration, they got a little backpack with a bunch of, it had the 5 C's in it, and it had a brand new Mora on it. And they're all like, oh, wow, Mora knife. And that ain't that cool. And then they found out how much they loved their little Moras. Yeah.
Moras is a really good knife.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out and you want,
oh yeah,
bushcraft or something like that, that's the best $10 you're gonna spend in your life, right there.
Yeah. Hey, John's Life, awesome. Yeah, that peasant is a great folder, carbon steel folder, and John's is painted gorgeously from where I'll peel fruits, eat meats. That ain't on plates. Yep. And carve wood. Absolutely. That's the patina on my knife, is that. And my granddad used to always say, don't take that patina off your knife. He said the patina actually doesn't just give your knife character, but it's easier to actually tell if your knife has been damaged, because you'll see the change in that patina. So that's cool. Sharpen her up.
Yeah, you. I like my K bars, but I'll tell you what, you can never go wrong with a good K or a BK knife. You just can't. You know, these things, if you're looking for a little knife and you're looking for something that you can do what Si's talking about, there's so many different things. The BKs are, I mean, they're phenomenal. You just can't beat them. I mean, the balance on these things are just phenomenal. If you want to change your handles, you can. They hold the edge. They got a great tine in the back. So, like, if you want to look at this right now, they got the finger rotation. So if you want to actually grab onto something, you can. The BK is really good. And if you saw the little ferro rod that I had with the light my fire, there's actually a little indentation on the bottom there that you can actually light your spark your ferro rod without wrecking your knife.
Yeah, you don't have to use the heel of it.
Knives are things.
Rolling another one if you can find them cheap W49s.
See, I'm trying to avoid personally buying any more knives because I've got myself where I need to be, you know, and you always have those wants, you know, but I got myself where I need to be, and I keep seeing all these wants. I want to get another. And I got that. And then Tyler's got to show that dang catalog. That I know, it's insane.
Here's another 2 things I'm going to show here.
Yeah.
This is from the Smiths. It's their sharpening stick. So you have the one for doing if you look at that, serrated edges.
Yep.
So you got your coarse and your fine. But I'll tell you what, this little thing here, I'll tell you, this is just awesome because you've got a 500 grit, and then you have, I think this is an 800 grit on this side, if I remember right. We're sharpening knives in the field. Really nice.
Hold on.
See,
like I said, my computer is working so hard. I'm trying to get you on full screen here. I can't tell if I am or not.
You had them there, yeah. Yeah, I've got a coarse grit, and I've got an 800 finishing that I carry in my pack small that I can use. But I have found that, you know, I'm not going to use a stone unless I've damaged my blade. The only stone I ever use on my knives, unless I've actually damaged the blade, is my Belgian blue stone. But I don't recommend those out to people because the cheap one's $85. Most of us are on a budget, and I was gifted mine, so and mine was an 85. It was much more expensive than that. Came with the slurry stone, which was another $35. But I strop all my knives.
So do I.
Out in the field, around the fire in the evenings. It drives people nuts because they sit there and I talk and do stories, and I'm stropping my knives.
I'll tell you,
hours at the fire, and I could shave this beard off with them knives. But
K-Bar has really good steel if you buy the good ones, and you can put an edge on any kind of a good knife and a drop and a curry.
Hello.
Hey, Nick, like the hat, man.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. I'm gonna ruin my headphones over it, but
you can seriously get your razor sharp with a strap.
I was gonna make my bed, but my cat was sleeping there, so I just didn't.
Actually,
I'll be right back.
It's all good.
There's
that paracord you guys were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Let me put you on full screen there, Nick.
All right. I know this brand. I got it in a like subscription box, and this one, it doesn't come with like copper wire, but it has the wax jute, Kevlar, which is different. Dyna X, it's like cut resistant. I don't know what you'd use it for really. It's probably just to tie stuff. 10-pound monofill, and then just 7 strands of paracord. So I could cut a piece off and open it up. See, here's my little old timer.
Just how good. Nice. Nothing wrong with those. Those knives have been
that's
on
my
for
favorite brand.
Longer than you, Nick.
Oh, it had a hard time cutting through that.
Another thing. Well, I bet.
Yeah.
Another thing I hear a lot of people when they talk about knives, but I think I was bringing this up the other day. Not too many people show a whole lot of interest anymore in the multi-tools.
In what?
Multi-tool, multi-tool knives like a Gerber or
right,
stuff like.
See,
that.
If I'm gonna be honest with multi-tools, I have a couple, but I just never use them. I always carry them.
I wish they would have multi-tools a la carte,
Trying to get all
where I could tell them what I want on the multi-tool. Take that multi-tool and get rid of this, and add this and add that. If I could buy a multi-tool that's a la carte, what I pick the pieces. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, on my strops, I don't have the strops here. I got them out in my truck actually. But I use this.
Use the green.
The green. And that's my starter. But I'm a believer now. Smurf poop. We call it Smurf poop. This dropping compound is to die for. I'm not kidding. This Smurf poop will get your knife surgically sharp. I
think I got the green, and I got the red, and I got the white.
Yeah, I got the green, red, and the yellow. I use the yellow on my whittling knife, on my carver, the carving jack. I always use the yellow. And then the strop for a carving jack is a wood block. It's not leather. And that yellow goes on better than most others onto a wood strop. See, a lot of people don't realize that strops don't have to be leather. They don't have to be leather. You can use a good clean pine or a cedar. Wood makes a good strop also. Yeah.
You can also use denim. Your pants.
Yeah. Yes, you can use denim. Yes, you can. Especially if you get it stretched tight. You get it stretched tight and load it up with compound. Denim works great. Look at that. What's Nick got there? Oh, he pulled the strands. He pulled the strands. Great.
Yeah. So here's the Kevlar. That's what I'm guessing what that is. Then there's the monofill. You can kind of see it.
Yep, the fishing line.
It's only 10-pound in this kind though, so it's. I know that other. This might be like a knockoff kind of brand, really, because there's no copper in here either. Oh. But the jute, it actually feels
waxy.
I don't know. Yeah, it's real waxy, but it's I don't know. It's thicker than I thought it'd be.
That's try it out.
The only string. There's the lines. How many lines do you know? Is it 7
there's
or
7?
9?
There's 7 of them.
7, and then you got the 3 others.
The case is still pretty strong too. Once it's all out.
Yeah, you add the case to it. That's right. I
could try light that on fire.
That jute. That's the only negative remarks I've seen on those multi-cords is about the jute. And it's not that big of a negative. It's just that you can't, to break it down so the fibers are exposed, it's difficult because it's such a small diameter and it's so tight. So to break it up so you can make a nest out of it for a ferro rod is a little difficult.
So what you want to do?
So it's something you light then. It's pretty much a wick?
No, go like this, Nick. No, Nick, go like this.
You're supposed to work it.
Here, I can't see.
You're supposed to work it until it's kind of fuzzy.
Take it between your hands and rub it together like you would working on a fire rod. So go like this with it first.
To loosen it up.
And lube it up, and then you start pulling the strands and do it again.
Yeah, you want to get all of the fibers kind of loosened up in it. And then usually you would strike it with a ferro rod, but to test the burn of it, you can just hit it with a lighter.
Oh wow, it's really unraveling.
Yeah. And if you
I
pulled
had no
out,
clue what this stuff was, other than it was flammable.
if you pull out 5 feet of that, it'll give you about a 2-inch bird's nest.
Right. And most people don't understand the concept of what's in there when they get that. So like you said, you start pulling apart and then do that again and work it like that. And that stuff is going to make a nice little bird's nest to catch that spark from your ferro rod.
Yeah.
The bad reviews that people give to this stuff is because they just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, I definitely don't know how.
Yeah, it's Jason. That's a different company than what you and I were talking about. That other company, they had the jute's got a red line around it, or else it's solid red, and that's the like Charles was saying, that's the fire cord. It's red so that you can identify it easy.
Nick, take it from there. When you start doing that, start pulling it apart like you would a piece of paper, and then keep just rolling it and pulling it apart, and you'll get a nice big.
That's what I got there. Just
Yeah, you got it kind of fluffy now.
Don't hit it with a ferro rod. You'll see how fast that takes off.
See if I can
they
find
say
mine.
if you get all the fibers pulled apart on it and get it fluffed up, it's about 4 to 6 times the size of the original string you started out with.
Yeah, John's life, that's exactly right. It burns like neoprene.
Charles wants to know the name brand of that there, Nick.
What is it?
The name brand on what you
this
have. What is it?
Parapocalypse.
Yeah,
Parapocalypse.
And then it has the 11 lines in one. And there's all the stuff on it. But I got it in like a survival subscription box.
The one that I'm just purchasing is by Titan Paracord.
That's the one I seen.
And rated for 620 pound. And
what's the test on this?
Yeah, it's
625 on this.
5/32 inch diameter with 25-pound mono fishing line and utility wire, which is the copper core wire, and waterproof fire tender. The only complaints people seem to have about it is that with the wire core, it's a little more difficult for tying small, fine knots. But I mean, come on, you can tie a knot. I can tie a knot in a piece of electrical conduit, for crying out loud, if I have to, So, and you shouldn't have the wire in it when you're tying the knot anyway. You cut yourself a 10-foot length, peel that wire out of it, and now you got just paracord, and it's going to act just like normal paracord. But you want that wire out of that. You want to make snares out of that wire or something else. You can use that wire for binding other things together. So you peel that wire out of that cord, and you got paracord again. Look at, yeah. That's a knife you don't lose. That's a knife. Now you don't lose.
What do I do exactly with this once it's all fluffed up? Do I make it to like a little nester? You turn it back into a.
Roll it into a little ball.
All right.
Then you hit it with your ferro rod, and she'll go poof.
Yeah, you can hit it with a ferro rod. Just put heat to it, and it'll ignite. See you guys with your bright red knives.
Where's that? Let me go find my ferro rod. I got a spoon to light it in.
Spoon. Yeah. Oh, that boy's talented. He's gonna start his fire in the spoon. This old boy needs a turkey roasting pan.
Yeah.
To make sure I don't burn my house down.
Or a 99-cent tablet, one of the two.
Yeah. Right. I need a Dollar Tree tablet. I got nothing but the tiny little notepads that I got all over the place. I take so darn many notes when I'm on these streams. It's ridiculous. And everybody out there in the chat, by the way, and those that aren't in the chat, if you get in the chat, then I pull your channels up, and I usually have a dozen tabs open at the top by the end of a stream of all new channels I'm going to follow. So
And guys, share this out. Bring your friends in. This is stuff that everybody wanted to learn and everything else. Let's keep this rolling. Let's tell some people about it.
I can't find my ferro rod anywhere because there's one drawer I keep it in. I cannot find it in there.
So if you just want to see how it burns, put it in the spoon and give it a strike with your lighter just to see if it burns.
I'm going to eat it.
And then eat it. There it goes.
Going pretty good. Alexa, turn the lights off. Oh. Went out pretty quick.
There's still an ember there.
Give it a quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, now if you
going good.
Just think now if you had an actual bird's nest of it that was, say, 2-3 inches around, you could get that under some nice dry tinder and off you go.
There's still embers there. I mean, you could.
And that's inside your paracord. And now you're not carrying any, you think about it. I saw where a guy said that he bought that survival cord with the added strand, and he relaced all of his hiking boots, new laces on his backpack. Everything's relaced with that survival paracord because he says, just think of all the fires I can start, all the snares I can make, all of this, all of that, off of just his lacings that he's got anyway. He's not carrying anything extra.
Those little squirrel snares work really good.
Oh, yeah.
All you got to do is just lean the log up and then just put peanut butter and just, there you go.
Yep. Yeah. Until you get I don't know how he even got his head in there, but I got a really peed off weasel in one.
Oh, crap. That's my favorite animal to try to get.
And he didn't hang himself either, doggone it. He was just, you could see where his tail had he had swept the leaves out from under the log. And he was sitting up on that log with that snare around his neck, just waiting, I think, for me to show up. It was just like, I want a piece of you now.
There's barely any here in PA. But when I was little, I trapped them for like 8 months. I got like 10 weasel boxes. And I finally got one.
You finally
got one in a rat trap. Because you just use the weasel box in a rat trap.
Yeah.
But they're a pain to catch.
Yeah. Oh, they're smart. I mean, they're a smart little bugger, too.
They're as territorial as like a mink. Like, they keep how many miles? Just that little thing will keep like 10 miles.
Yeah. They'll take 10 square miles, and that's their territory.
Yeah, they're like the size of like a mini sock or something.
Yeah. So, Chowser?
He's back.
Look at him digging through an Amazon box there. I mean,
what you got in there?
Doing an unboxing for us right here, live.
Oh, paracord.
Oh, that's a lot.
He sent me a link for paracord. Yeah, he got himself a big supply there.
Oh, I've got random stuff. This is the stuff that you guys were talking about earlier. Look at how thick this thing is.
Oh yeah,
man.
This has 7 strands of paracord, 1 strand of the fire cord. It has jute twine in here. It has Kevlar thread and 25-pound test fish or a modified.
Yep.
Wow.
I think it was roughly 17 to 20 feet of paracord just in this one anklet that I made.
Yeah. But think of the resource there.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of resource in that one strap, boy.
Oh, yeah. And on top of that, I'm using an actual bow shackle on here, too. So I have a full-on shackle if I need it for something.
Yeah.
I know a lot of these like multi-use things that are out there. A lot of them are just kind of like useless, but this one's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty useful.
That's it. That's it.
There's far too many functions for paracord that you can do. First off,
Oh,
depending
yeah.
on the strands, depending on how they weave the white strands,
Yep.
your paracord can run either 14 internal strands or 21, depending on the weave pattern.
Right.
So each one of those can break down anywhere, those 7 individual strands to, 2 to 3 strands for each one.
Yeah.
So you got that times the length of whatever your paracord length is. You have now all of that cordage.
Yep.
If you want to process it as small as you can, but it's a pain because that stuff gets tangled up. It's like yarn.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have the outer casing. That outer nylon casing runs anywhere between, I think it's like 25 to 32 individual nylon strands wrapped and woven in order to make that outer casing.
Right.
So now you have the outer casing, which, depending on the length times 32, I mean, you've got full-on almost an infinite number of cordage. And that nylon casing is not weak at all. You can actually fish with it.
Oh, I've taken just bare casing and done lashing projects with it because I removed all the core for other projects.
Yeah.
Pulled all the core out and had nothing but the casing. And I've lashed shelters together. I've built tables with empty paracord, and they held up, and they're tough as can be. It's surprising, the casing itself, the durability of the casing.
That stuff will have a little bit of stretch in it, but it's not much.
Right. And again, it comes into how you're using it. If you can get the majority, you can get 95% of the stretch out of it just in your lashings, just in how you lash. And you'll get maybe a little bit of movement, but nothing. It's all negligible. So it's, people, they overblow some things, this is going to stretch so much. And I've put up paracord ridge lines and put a 10 by 20 tarp over the long way, 20 foot ridge line. It didn't drop a stinking inch in a week. It never dropped. That tarp stayed there as an A-frame roof for a week, and I put a toggle on, and I did the hardest trucker's hitch I could on that, and got it as taut at 21 feet between those trees, and I could go twang. You could hear it twang.
Depending on how you tie that, you can get those things guitar string tight.
That's right, and it stayed there for a week. That's when I told myself, I'm giving up the stretching argument with people. If it's applied properly, you won't have to worry about the stretch.
The thing you guys got to remember is that each one of these strands that are in paracord, there's 3 additional strings are rolled or braided in each one of these strands. So like I'm showing you now, this one piece of strand right here has 3 additional pieces of paracord that is wound in this one strand.
Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about earlier, Mark, is the inner strands, the white ones. Depending on the company that makes them, it's either 2 strands or 3 strands woven around.
Yep.
So like this black paracord here, this is the stuff I got from Titan Survival. That stuff it's the 3 cords around one. So you get the internals, which is 21 additional cords.
Yep. That's what
so by the time you're done with that, plus all the other stuff, you're looking at like 12 different cords inside one case.
This is actually the same exact stuff, just regular 550 paracord. That's all this is.
Yeah, see, I've got quite a bit of Titan standard 550. I've already bought a bunch of Titan standard 550 and used it out in the field and loved it. It performed excellently. So when now their new model of the multi-core, that's why I put it in my shopping cart, because I got it. It don't hurt to have 100 feet of that in my kit,
Oh, no.
Now to keep with my
I've been talking some of my plans for my channel and what I want to do. Here eventually I have planned to do a all paracord video where I have a paracord survival belt made out of all paracord. I'm going to be doing a shelter, an enclosed shelter out of all paracord. I mean, we're talking massive 30, 40,000 feet of paracord. Along with the belt, I want to do a beanie. I think Damage 85 was talking about doing a stocking cap or a beanie. I was going to do a beanie as well with a sleeping bag. I want to make a sleeping bag out of paracord. I have a whole paracord inspired video where everything's going to be made out of paracord.
Nice.
Don't
To keep with my
Tyler, I made an 8 by 16 foot gill net out of paracord. That weaving that gill net was it was a trip, because when I first tried it, I used to make gill nets with a Native American friend of mine. I worked on his fish tug, and I'd sit there and weave gill nets during the winter. But that's just monofilament. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and everything was just on the up and up. You didn't have the stretch, where now we go to stretch, that you have with paracord. And I get about a third done, and I'm looking, and I go, yeah, my gill net's all like this, you know. I'm going, oh, geez, so I have to undo the whole gill net, start over, like you were doing that night on my stream with the belt. Yeah, he's going third try. I think I got it now. But when I finally got that gill net done, I was so proud of it. I couldn't wait to go out. You can't net here legally unless you're Native American. Mm-hmm. But I was going to go out and use it anyway. I got to see if it works. And I went out to get it out of my shop, and it wasn't there. And I started asking my ex-wife, "Did you see that box with the gill net in it?" And she goes, "Oh, that's a gill net." I go, "Yeah, have you seen it?" She said, "Yeah, I sold it in yard sale 2 weeks ago."
Yeah.
She sold it for less than what the paracord cost me. Ouch. And I thought of all those hours weaving that bugger. I just like, oh, no, don't touch my stuff. No.
Now I keep this with my paracord. Parapocalypse. Wait, is it the same thing? Yeah, it's the same brand. It's like a bunch of these little clips and stuff that you can use for paracord. There's just all kinds of latches and cool. There's all kinds.
Cool.
There's one for a bracelet, but I just keep it next to the paracord because I just don't know if I'll ever make a bracelet, but if I have enough patience, I think I'll start one.
Yeah, I think you got the. Did that come with your cord shipment, or did you buy that one separately?
It come with the cord in like a subscription box I got.
Okay, yeah, then that's part of their kit making process. So you buy that stuff, and they'll usually send you the stuff for the kit, like you had there, the buckles. You get the little clips for like the quick release necklaces and all that. It's just basically like a little project kit for you.
Yeah.
All right.
IDCT.
Actually, I've got something similar here.
So
I can get more light in here in a second. We'll turn it off. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Now we can see.
Don't hit it. 3,400.
I've got this guy
that you shot at us.
This is my EDC. I take this thing with me every day. This goes around my ankle. That's 27 feet of 550 paracord.
Thank you, Tico.
Yep.
All on just like a cheap, crappy 40-cent buckle. And I've worn this thing for the last 5 years, and it has not broke once.
Awesome.
Yep. It's amazing how much paracord you can carry on yourself with ankle bands, wristband.
I go to the church sale by me.
A belt. I mean, paracord belts are awesome.
Paracord
I know this is off topic, but I went to the church sale, and I just got a wool blanket for Christmas. And this is 100% wool. And I found it there for $10. It's 100% wool. I think it's a queen size. But it's I looked it up. It's for like a rest. Yeah, it's a vintage one. It's for a restoration place. There's a patch on it. It's 100% wool.
Oh, nice.
And I just got one for Christmas.
Oh, you you stole that for $10.
Yeah, they get stuff like that all the time. You just gotta check church sales because they get a lot of like old camping stuff.
That's crazy because that's probably a $250
Oh, yeah.
blanket.
Yeah, it's since it has the restoration badge, I looked it up. That brand, it's like $200 for this one, even if there's a hole.
Oh, even if it wasn't with that brand name, dude, you get a full 100% wool blanket. They're ridiculously expensive, especially for a queen size.
Oh,
yeah, and it's thick too. It's a good.
Awesome.
It's a good 1/4 inch thick. It's like decently
I
thick.
of collecting and getting that stuff. Because I go around and I go thrift shopping. I'm a huge. I love thrift shopping, especially on the weekends. It's something to do as a hobby. I picked up stuff like my LL Bean microlight tent. It's $500. One of the Ascend sleeping bag that I have is an $80 sleeping bag box, and this stuff wasn't even used yet. Along with my Kelty framed hiking bag, I picked that one up for around $10, and that's a $250 bag. Oh, yeah. So you'd be amazed at what you can find. Actually, have a video. One of my video ideas is to go back into some of the thrift stores and find camping outdoor related stuff and do like a 48-hour challenge just using only what I find at a thrift store.
Oh, thrift stores are great, man. Yeah. Church sales, gift stores. I always say you want to go where the old widows take their stuff to have it sold.
Yeah.
Because the old widow doesn't care what the old man paid for it or anything. They just want to get rid of it.
It's funny, though. You'll go in the next week, and there'll just be like a whole thing of camping stuff.
Yep.
Whole thing.
I don't know if this is actually going to come through or not on the screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, lag spike.
That's...
Yeah, it does not come out very well.
You see it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm actually looking for is I'm looking for a good
auger. I decided to make a paracord card.
Oh, I got a couple of new toys, Tyler. I don't think you've seen these yet. I finally got a good I'm pretty sure I can't die, but I got a E-swing or S-swing. Yeah, it's a 26-inch one.
E-swing.
And then I got the Boreal 21 finally.
Yeah.
Finally got it.
He was over on my stream showing off his goodies, and I'm just sitting over here like a little kid at a candy store.
It comes with the Woodland blade extra. It's like their thicker blade.
Oh, yeah, it's got this separate blade.
I don't want to push that back down, but yeah, it's that one. Oh, whoa. Finally, though, I finally got one. Yeah. A lot of people use this. You use it too, right, Tyler?
Yep. This is that's the one I got. Is the Agua Boreal 21.
Yeah, same one.
I got that awesome autograph. Oops.
Oh,
invisible, but I got that awesome
from Joe. Joe's a hard guy to get to talk to.
I probably get hundreds of people asking me all the time, what kind of saw is that? And I tell them it's the best saw ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, for a packable saw, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Yeah, for a packable.
A full length saw at that? Yeah, absolutely. A full 21-inch blade packs down into nothing.
Yeah.
But I think Mark said he's going to have to get going. I don't know if you're still there, Mark. Are you? I'm not sure. But yeah, they are hands down great saws. I absolutely love mine. Find out that you can use that blade for years to come without changing changing it. I still have yet to change
Yeah.
it myself.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, because when I was
Usually
at
I don't,
Canadian
like, get
Post
stuff-
last year, when I was there, I had the company look at my channel, and they said that they want to sponsor me. They gave me a bunch of blades. I probably got
really?
about 15, 20 never even used. Yeah.
That's more than a life supply.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
I use,
well, on fire starters
usually-
too. Oh, go ahead.
All right, I gotta get going. I gotta get to bed. But before I go, I just wanted to show Nick. This is what an East Wing looks like when it's 10 years old.
That's the same one I just got too.
Yep.
Wow.
But I'll tell you what, I did some rough work with this. I've used it in the woods. I beat on it, and things are amazing.
Wow. Well, that's good.
Needs a good clean, and I think I might do that.
Crazy Ann, is Spicy all done over there? I keep getting messages.
Crazy man.
I warned everybody that,
Yeah, I still have
when
their-
there's a
their-
bushcrafting specific stream, guess what? You know where you'll find me. It goes right to the heart of my channel. I'm sorry.
But guys, I got to take off because I was been up since 4 this morning at work. So now that Tyler's got a full house and stuff, I'm gonna take off. I'm glad that this turned out as well as it did. It has been really fun. But my eyelids are like, I need toothpicks to keep them open before I sit here and go.
You're fine.
I got so let's say
I
take
appreciate
care,
you
guys.
as always.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing me the axe because
Yeah, old age.
I haven't seen many reviews on it yet.
I'll tell you what, if ask anybody, you can't take an axe and hit it with another hammer. The East Wing, you can beat this thing with a steel hammer and it'll ring like you never heard it ring before. It will not hurt it at all.
Wow.
And
It seems so thin. I just wow.
if you look at how mine is, you see how it's all mushroomed out. That's from beating on
Yeah.
it. And like this thing is just brute. And the thing of it is it might
Is it solid?
Oh yeah. It's still sharp too.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get one too.
And
They sell a little one like this. I kind of want it now.
that one doesn't have the power that I wish they would make these like in a 4.5 pounder because this thing would be deadly awesome. But it does for like splitting in like at a camp or something like that. This is perfect.
It reminds me of like an Eskimo axe.
Yeah.
What?
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
Yours should look just like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
reminds
same
them
one,
of
same one.
it reminds them of an Eskimo axe. What are those rated at? 3 pound?
Not even. I don't think they're even 3 pounds. They might be 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see if it's on.
For in camp, it's a great tool. 'Cause
Yep.
a buddy of mine's got one, and man, oh man, can he put some wood up in camp with that?
You can
I want to steal it, but he never lets me touch it.
with a swing on this thing too. You'd be surprised because if in pine and stuff like that, you'll bury this thing all the way up to here in one swing.
Really?
They're so thin, and they're and the other cool thing you're gonna find out, Nick, is these things will hold an edge like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. They're more that's a working axe. It's not a splitting axe. It's not designed for splitting wood. A splitting axe is wide bodied. It's really wide bodied with a sharp edge, so that the wide body kicks the wood apart. But
if you look at these,
in camp, they'll split wood like a devil. Yeah. Yeah, look at the difference.
Yeah, I do construction, and we use a lot of East Wing hammers. Out of all, they always have an East Wing hammer because they're top-notch quality. They are hands down, I think one of the best hammers out there. I have not yet tried their axes. I'm curious to see from Mark and Nick, see how you guys what it can do.
Here you go. This is 5 years old, and if you look at that handle, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Nick gets to see what his is gonna be looking like.
Yeah, this one has to look that one in the eyes now.
Yeah.
It has to see what it's gonna go through.
Nick's is just a baby. It hasn't been put to the test yet.
I'll tell you what, Nick, this thing has split more firewood than a lot of my other axes, because if you're out in camp and stuff like that, I had this in my backpack for a long time. I used it for my bushcraft axe because my other one, the head kept flying off because I kept swinging it too hard. So this is what a guy told me to get that I could never break. And I have not been able to destroy this thing yet.
And like I said, for a working axe, if you got to do notching or any fine work with it, it's a sweet axe for all that fine work. Yeah.
And pretty light too. What is it? How much
It's not heavy at all. It is not heavy.
It's super light. It was.
Yeah.
Nick, take it like this, and if you feel it, feel the balance on this axe. And the handle.
Oh, on the handle.
See that?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to.
You know, it has a great balance to it, and even in the handle, I mean, if you're up here, if you're up tight, you know, it feels good all the way around. That's what I like about it. The only thing I'm going to tell you that's going to really suck is if you hit some what we call up here ironwood.
Oh, wow.
And you hit that with this thing and you sink it in, she's going to ring all the way through the handle, and that's what's really nice about this padded handles, because you're not going to take the full brunt of that. But let me tell you, it does. You'll get a tingle.
Yeah, it'll pucker your butt.
Like Sty said, this is a perfect axe for around camp if you're just batoning, splitting wood.
Yeah, because here I can't cut the trees down out there. I can only use what's like on the ground. So
yeah, this is perfect. And for those, if you want to make some kindling really quick, you smash this down in the center, give it a twist. It's not going to bend your head like a normal axe would do, and it pops and splits that just like it's nothing.
All right.
It's tried and true.
Yeah, it says it's American made too. I didn't know that until I just saw a sticker.
Yeah, it's American made too. Yep.
American made. I'm sitting here, I'm glancing through Amazon, and they're pissing me off. It's not coming up.
East Wing axe?
Yeah.
You're
Amazon's being crappy right now because I typed in East Wing, and holy God, it's giving me everything but.
Go check our local Menards, buddy. I bet you'll get a lot cheaper.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
Can I ask what a Menards is?
It's a big supply,
big box store,
hardware store with lumber.
Yep.
So it's probably like a Hobbs Do It Best. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yes, I know
it's
what
like
they
a Hobbs. All right.
Yep.
It's like a Lowe's.
I hear Menards all the time, but
same thing.
See, the problem for me is, it's nice of Mark to say go to your local Menards. That's 135-mile round trip for me.
What about Home Depot?
It's right next to Menards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not kidding. It is. It's right. In fact, if they had a drive-through there, they could share the parking lots. Hey,
every town here has a hardware.
Now I don't have to search for it.
Chelser found it.
Chelser's helping me out. That's awesome. Thanks. Yeah. There we go.
I was actually thinking about doing something too. Was going to be a survival challenge, going to Menards, showing everything they have there, and then later on, kind of put something up on people pick some of the items that I show and see if I can do like a 24 or 48 hour challenge on.
I'll tell you what you do. Don't ask them about it. Just do it, because I asked them if I could go in there and they told me no.
Okay.
They didn't want me to go through there and do that.
To film it while you're shopping?
Yep.
Yeah.
What, to film it?
Real picky.
Well, what I did, because they told me no at Dollar Tree, because a couple of months ago I went in and I still haven't even gone into the woods for it yet. But I went in and I just had my phone like this,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Oh, here it is. This is what I'm getting, honey."
Oh,
Even though I don't have a girlfriend,
I'm
like,
telling you,
here it
Nick.
is.
I'm telling
And
you,
I'm filming
Nick,
it on my phone.
Hey, Nick, you got to hear this. This will really tee you off. If they told you, no, we don't want you filming in here. Oh, no. I managed a Dollar Tree for almost 3 years before I retired. That was the last thing I did before I retired. I was still there when we got the corporate directive. We are not to approach customers that are filming in the store. Only the employees are banned from filming in the store, not the customers. And
Really?
I got that memo, and I made 30 copies, taped it all over the store and in the office, because all my damn employees were walking around with their phones filming stuff. I highlighted that the employees aren't allowed. But the customers were thrilled.
My battery's saying I'm dead anyway. So,
hey,
There's a blinking thing there.
Yeah, it's blinking. It's telling me my DSLR is all dying. So,
going, gone, right?
Going. See you later, buddy.
Hey, see ya. Thanks, Mark. You and Tyler are great. Thanks for having me around, man.
On fire starters, sister made these. It's just that,
there you go.
mean, sure, everyone knows these. I mean,
yep.
But there's dryer lint under here, and then there's wax on it and a match, and then all you gotta do is cut it out with a knife, scissors or a knife.
Yeah.
And then just they work though really good.
Yeah, they do. I used to make. I had so many of those. I think I had 2 5-gallon
buckets. Any of these new?
The zappers,
new lighters.
Yeah.
That's the with the electric. Yeah.
Yep, that's one of Paul Corona, like Black and White Fire Starters, one of his new products that he sent me. These things are quite nice. You know, you put them on a charger and they last quite a long time. It'll burn just about anything.
Yep, flame free. That's your glowing ember in your pocket.
Yeah. You know what? The sad part is I've been really wanting to touch it, but I'm too scared to.
Yeah.
See, that's why I was scared to get one.
That temptation. Yeah. Is it just going to burn me, or is it going to? Is it going to be like
if you touch water with it?
Yeah. Ooh.
I have not tried that.
You got to do an overnight challenge, and then you have to touch water with that at like midnight.
Put an icicle.
See if you can survive.
Hit the end of the icicle with it. See if it sends a charge or if it melts the icicle.
It'd probably just stop if you put it in water.
Yeah.
I have not a clue.
I was gonna get one for fireworks. It seems good for fireworks.
Oh yeah, that would work good for fireworks.
You don't have to worry about wind blowing it out as you're trying to light something.
Yeah, there you go, Chaucer Fox. Yeah, you got to make darn sure to keep the lid down on that thing. If it's in your pocket, you could start something on fire you don't want to.
Right.
I'll have to get one of those.
It's a nice little backup, like I said, for those really windy days that you can't get a ferro rod going, or even your good old trusty Bic lighter, you know.
Yep.
Because Bic lighters, you leave them out in the cold, especially this time of the year.
That's the thing. Bic lighters are susceptible to moisture, so a lot of people don't realize a Bic lighter. Yeah, you fall out of the boat, crawl out, and try to start yourself a fire. Not till you dry out that lighter. That's.
Well, see, the beauty thing about these too, like I was seeing Joshua said, it has a little locking mechanism right here that you pull down. You pop that open, and then the button is actually right up here on the top.
Oh, okay. So the button's not really accessible unless you go through those steps. That's cool.
Unless you go through here, it just pops the cap open, so it's completely waterproof.
Yeah.
And then you can actually change out the little case too.
Well, you take that, you take it out of the case and put it in the charger?
Yep. Well, you don't even have to take it off the case to put on the charger. The charging port is right here.
Oh yeah, just a
Let me see if I can
USB
get
chart port.
Yep, just like any regular cell phone.
Awesome.
I think it's a USB-C.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too. Like we're talking about, fire starters and swallowing your pride and sometimes having to use a Bic lighter. Like I said, in this cold conditions that we go out and camp in when it's 20, 30 degrees out, if you ain't holding that lighter for a good, 5 minutes in your hand, you're not going to be able to get any kind of fire going. Something like this, it doesn't matter if it's.
People don't realize that all fuels in the alcohol realm under extreme cold don't burn well. They don't burn well. It's like an alcohol stove. Have you ever used one? Trying to get one going in sub-zero weather? Holy God, it takes you forever. You use most of your fuel preheating your little alcohol stove so that the alcohol in the stove will turn into a gas to burn. Liquid fuel doesn't perform well in sub-zero weather. Yeah.
I want to show you these. One of my fans.
What the heck have you got there?
Well, one of my friends on YouTube, GM Survival, sent me these in fan mail. They're called sticklets.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to make like a tripod or something out of wood, you don't want to use paracord, you can just pop it into these. There's some that are 2.
Yep.
You can make all kinds of stuff with it. So I'm going to give it like a challenge on it, see if I can do it.
Those are rubber, right?
Yeah, they're real flexible.
And you just flex it over. Yeah, you flex it over your poles. Those things are awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a try because the woods I'm in, every time I'm done, I have to take paracord down or anything. So I can use these and then just take it down.
And that's the nice thing is if you're doing a quick setup and it's a quick camp, you're not going to be back there tomorrow kind of thing. And you got a pocket full of those. You got it made, no paracord, no time involved. It just boom, 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 and you got your tripod.
It's perfect for like a tripod for like over the fire. Just 3 sticks and then just set it there.
Hey, you use that three hole one and you make yourself a wedge shelter in about 5 minutes. You're done.
Yeah.
You can make a tripod wedge shelter in about 5 minutes with that. Yeah. Those are
I'll give them a try.
I've seen them, but I didn't look into them much because I thought I don't need to buy any more stuff. I got what I need. But there we go, another damn want, Oh, there's no end to it, is there, guys? You just look at that.
Me and Mark were talking about having Amazon on your phone. It may seem like a good idea, but for people like us, it's such a bad idea to just be able to buy anything you want at anywhere, anytime.
That's it. It comes to mind, and it's right there. It's right there. Where if it's just at home on your laptop or computer, I'll forget about it by the time I get home. But now on the phone, I did the phone app too. I don't know how many times I've gone, oh gosh, that's right. I really like that. And I get up on the phone, bye. And I should just say, bye. Hey, good fire pit stand.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. Because I just bought
nice.
One of Lodge's really big Dutch ovens.
Oh, yeah.
So I can just hang it on here. I don't know how this thing goes.
I bought an awesome little bio 2-quart Dutch oven last fall. It's only 2-quart because it's just me in camp usually. Oh, do I love that thing. And I bought a new iron pot holder like that for myself last fall too, because I always made tripods, and then I ended up with about 5 tripods in my trailer because every camp I went to, I'd make another tripod, forgetting I got one in the trailer. And next thing I know, I got all these tripods. And I thought if I just get a pot hanger, I won't have to build a tripod over my fire every single camp. Yeah. And they're handy. They're nice. Yeah.
This thing's confusing.
It's kind of weird, but when you're out in the woods, the legs they'll stick in the ground and they kind of make it rigid, and then it'll
Yeah.
feel like it locks together better.
Yeah, because here it's just concrete.
Yeah.
Keep
So
sliding.
it slide around. Yeah. But you get that in your fire pit, you'll see. Yeah, it stands real nice. And with that chain with the hook, yep. Oh gosh, where is it? Oh gosh, dang it!
This thing's
I think I
deal.
put it away. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I've officially taken over the stream, guys. It's mine. And this thing's a pain. There goes another hook. There we go. I took over the stream for a minute.
Yeah, I saw that. I got a gift from one of my viewers. He said he was sending me a bunch of fishing lures. Well, he did. He sent me a whole mess of good spinner baits and a ton of extra aprons for him. But what the best thing was, he sent me, and I thought it was for just for good luck, right? No, this horseshoe, I wish I had my Dutch oven handy, but if your Dutch oven has a bail handle on it,
yeah,
you know, the wire bail handle.
Pick it up with that?
You pick that bail up with this.
Oh, really?
You can pick that pot up with this. It's like, and no heat. I mean, and
is it just a regular horseshoe, or are the ends like hit up?
The ends are.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Are extremely curved back.
They charge a lot of money for those things to pick those up.
Yeah, you know, you see the ones that are the long rod with the.
Yeah, they're like two legs, and then they come up. And you do that.
And this does this. You can lift the bail with it, and if it's got a handle on the lid, you just hook it with one leg, and you can lift the handle. That this thing is sweet. That what I really like is if it's got a bail handle. It'll balance in the center. So if you pick it up with one of those rods, it's 1 point, and it'll sit there and it'll rock. The Dutch oven will rock when you pick it up. You pick it up, your Dutch oven doesn't wobble or rock at all. And this thing is so stinking handy. And I open it up and I go, what the heck? He sent me a horseshoe. I'm going to put that up on my adventure trailer.
Yeah, stuff like that happens with me at fan mail, and then I read the letter, and then I know it's like
what it is.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, he got on. It was on a live stream. I said, "Oh, look at what he sent me! Isn't this awesome?" He gets on there. He goes, "Yeah, dummy, that's for your Dutch oven." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah,
I can grab the one I just got. I can still hear you.
Yeah, he did me a good turn sending me that. That I gave it a try, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it.
There's the one I just got. Oopsie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the 8-quart, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's a sweet Dutch oven.
I didn't get it. Walmart had 4 of these, and this was the only one that had the handle with it, and they were all the same price.
Huh. Yeah. Tyler, I was showing him this. There you go. For lifting a Dutch oven out of the fire. You got the bail handle, the wire bail handle, and a lot of them have that spring on them, but even that spring gets hot, or you ain't grabbing it with a bare hand. And this is just a horseshoe with the ends bent over, and you can lift your Dutch ovens right out of the campfire, never burn your hand. You don't have to wear a glove. This thing is absolutely sweet. But one of my viewers sent
That's
it
why
to me. One of my viewers sent it to me. And I said, I'm going to mount that on my trailer for good luck. And he goes, you dope. That's for lifting your Dutch oven out of the fire. Oh, I almost put it to the wrong use.
Well, you're thinking outside the box is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I probably should. In fact, then I read the letter he put in the box that he sent it in, and it tells me what to do with it, And I like, I should read first, act later. Just like instructions. I'll read those if it doesn't go together. Oh, the lures he sent me, no, it's just that he makes all of his own spinning lures. So he sent me all of the gear and some finished lures that he made out of pre-purchased materials. Yeah, it's just like any other bass fishing lures that you kind of build yourself, replace the skirts on them and stuff. Yeah, I was really blessed. Everybody sent me Andy K out of England. He did me the best turn. He had to have sent me about 75 lures and about 15 packs of soft baits. He goes, you got a kayak, get your butt out there and fish. And I had the worst time fishing last year. Yeah, this year's another year. I'm going to be fishing my butt off and camping all I can. And if lucky, I get to make that Canadian tour and come zipping down through the lower Great Lakes. I want to see Nick if I can.
Yeah, I'm right by Erie. So
yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to go through there and see it.
This is the knife I was trying to find.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Say, you can't really see the gold on there too well. I need the exact name. It's a SGB Deadwood Canyon.
Huh.
I think it's a Puma knife. I got it sent my first fan mail ever, and I love it. It's like really solid. It's a little carrier, but I baby this knife. I don't want it getting chipped or anything. There's another thing I got with that survival box. Have you seen these? Pack light. It's glow in the dark light for your tent.
I don't know if that. Yeah,
I have not. I'm putting you on full screen. Hold on. That way I can get a better view.
But now we got your whole size.
Okay, let me dim this screen down real quick. There we go. But I just have a UV light like chained onto here so I can just charge it. But my room's a little bright right now.
Oh my gosh.
But that thing, it glows a lot. Let me turn this light off. Yeah.
That little bit and it's still holding the light.
Yeah, okay, here we go. It's crazy. It's super bright. I mean, yeah. Let me take this off actually. You can like draw on it because UV light, I mean, it really charges glow in the dark stuff fast. But I did try this in a. Here, I'll just I'll put an N. You can kind of see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's super bright. It doesn't really show up. It's hard to like show that, but it's
but we can tell. Yeah, for creators that have filmed in the dark can tell how bright that really is.
Yeah.
Right.
It's super cool
though. I'm blown away by that. That was instant. And it's holding it too.
Yeah, I guess it holds it for 12 hours. Obviously it dims down, but if you guys can't tell what it is, it's just a bunch of like the crystals, like solid. And it's just in this really, really thin just bag. So you can just throw it in your pack.
No kidding. It's thin, out of the way. That's
my hot tent. Well, I charged it in my hot tent with all the lights off, and it lit up like a whole corner just from how bright it was.
And that's the thing too, is you could set that on a tree branch next to your camp if you have to go out at night, maybe something, and you'll be able to see
you
that
could mark
sucker.
your trailhead to the latrine.
Well, what someone said was they got it for their kids because they saw a little one. It's like a ring on a necklace, and they'd put it on their neck. So if their kid went going somewhere and it was dark out, they could see the ring. But it does. I mean, like one of those Coleman 2-person tents. This will light the whole tent up enough where you can see something to pick it up. And this is just a $10 Olight flashlight they sent, but I just have it keychained onto here so I can quickly charge it. But
right, they're together.
I mean, it's bright.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It can make you. I can see having one of them when I got to film in a shelter or in a tent at night. I'm trying to do a video. When it's getting dark, I can't video. I could see having a couple of them just kind of sitting behind me in a shelter and still being able to video.
Yeah, those seem to be like the modern little glow sticks. You know, those seems like that could easily replace. That's awesome.
Reusable glow stick. That's the only problem with glow sticks. They're used once, you know.
Yeah. Too bad you're not going to have your license beforehand, Nick, or I'd have you come down with me, Chris, and Mark for this challenge. I know it's got to be driving you crazy. I think the mic is off.
It's off.
There you go.
There's a blinking light, but sometimes I don't notice. So there's something I can do with this mic. I don't know if it picked up, but this the stand is like $10 and the mic is like 20 times that. So
yeah,
I don't know what I'm thinking.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Jason,
you're right. Yeah, when I broke my ankle last summer, it's because I had a headlamp on, but I wasn't pointing it to the ground as I was walking through the brush and into camp, and stepped in a stinking gopher hole and broke my ankle.
Ow.
But if I would have had something like that, I'm sitting here thinking, man, I just put a little carabiner on it and clipped one on each side of my belt loops on my thighs, and I'm gonna walk around in the woods in the dark.
Imagine selling like an outdoor sneaker that has these crystals in it, so maybe it light up around your feet. It's bright enough; it can light up like probably 2 foot in front of you.
If you had it, you set it up so it's directional off the front of your shoe.
Yeah,
you'd be able to see what right.
It sounds kind of stupid, but I think it would actually work.
Oh yeah, have what happened to me last summer. And you wouldn't think that's stupid.
There's so many of those groundhog holes around here.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my little old timer. I didn't think you've seen it, Sty.
I love them old timers. Yeah. Yeah. Trail trash. That's not what they meant. Yeah. I wish I would have realized that. I got cabin fever so damn bad, and got Tyler and Mark and these guys going out doing their winter challenge, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, Mark's lean-to shelter, it's pretty close to what I had constructed my last year in camp, and I just I'll go down there. I'll spend a week in that bugger. And not with my bum ankle though. I ain't getting out there. That's the problem. I might be able to spend a day, but days, I don't think my ankle will hold up. Damn it.
Oh, my tent. That reminds me. I just thought of my ankle because earlier I heard it. The reason I heard it is because there was 50-mile-an-hour wind gust out of nowhere this morning. Out of nowhere. And I'm in a field, and that's where my hot tent is. So it kind of got obliterated. But I had to go down. I was down there for like 5 hours resetting the tent up, getting all the water out of it because the chimney come out of the stove jack hole and it filled up with water.
Through
Just
the hole.
water everywhere. The tent was flipped over.
Oh no!
It pulled the stakes. The tent's strong. Nothing happened to the tent, but the wind was so strong on the one wall, it pulled the stakes this long, that wide, straight out of the ground. So I was down there for hours, and I just did an overnight camp in it. So I'm lucky.
Well,
it come
yeah,
out of
you're
nowhere.
lucky.
No one's seen the winds coming.
Wow.
Yeah, I know I did a sty story quite a long time ago about it, but I had two 16-foot, six-sided mash tents from the Korean War era, and they stitched together, and so I had two of those big roundish tents, and they had the smoke holes and all.
Was it the bell tent?
It's basically a bell tent. These were the true military issue. They weighed 325 pounds. They called it 325 pounds dry. That meant without the stakes and any poles.
How many ounce, was it
12
waxed?
12-ounce cotton.
Holy cow.
Yeah, 12-ounce treated cotton. And the treating added almost doubles its weight. And it was like a petroleum-based treatment, water treatment they put on them.
Just my tent, it's 10-ounce canvas, but there's no other treatment on it. It's just that, and that's 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So I could see how big those are.
325 pounds. And the center pole you put in it is 12 feet tall. So yeah, they're big and roomy, but we had straight line winds that exceeded 60 miles an hour hit our camp. It was taking down western fir trees that were 38 inches around, just knocking them down like they're toothpicks. And those two tents stayed put. It was me, my wife, and our 4 little kids in that tent. And we stayed in the front tent. The back tent was our sleeping area. The front tent was kitchen, family room, wood stove, all that, right? We stayed in there. And when those winds hit, they puffed our tents up just like big balloons. It made these 6-sided tents look round and like big round balls. And I grabbed onto the center pole. Well, the center pole had a big pole barn spike that went through this big steel grommet in the top. Well, that spike, after I got them up, I laid a ladder against the tent, went up there with a hammer and pounded that spike over at a 45-degree angle. So there's no way that pole would come out of the top. Bad idea. Don't do that. Because when those tents blew up and that top went up, the pole's going with it. So I grabbed that big pole, 8-inch round pole, grabbed that pole, and it's lifting me 6 feet off the ground back and forth like that in that storm. And our stove, it pulled the pipes apart.
Oh.
So here I got 6 feet of pipe inside the tent spinning around like this and getting beat around, and all this soot in that pipe's coming out of that pipe. But that dang tents, not a single stake got pulled out of them. And we used the original military issue spikes. They're probably about 11 inches long.
Were they like green aluminum ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use in my tent now.
Yeah, they're good spikes. Spikes. But
there's only 4 on this one, though.
Oh, yeah. See,
so,
and on mine, there was a total of, let's say, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16. There's 16 spikes on that tent. Yeah. 16 tie outs. I take that back because then there's the 6 roof tie outs you use. So you got to add another 6 to that. So there's 22 guy line points. So that holds the tent on the ground, but it don't stop the tent from billowing out and everything inside moving around. But
like you said with the stove, how that pipe come off. That happened to me like a week ago. I was in the hot tent, and remember I told you how I had it originally? Like 90% of the pipe was outside in the one stove jack.
Right.
It was that one night I was out there. I was running the stove, and it was burning hot. It was red because I had the damper shut a bit. And as soon as it started getting real red hot, a big wind gust blew on that whole entire chimney, and it started tipping the stove inside. I had to get my I don't know what they're called. It's like is it a fire bag or a wind bag for like a fireplace?
Oh,
it's like the old ones.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Yeah.
I had to hold the chimney. Yeah. I had to hold the chimney with the end of that, and it was so hard. Because if I didn't, it was going to tip over and just burn me. So
yeah, start this. Oh gosh, yeah, you don't want that happening, man. Now on your hot tent, Nick, are you going with a vertical pipe, or are you going with about a 45 degree angle pipe?
I tried vertical on the one stove jack, where it was just straight up. I wasn't thinking. I thought it would have been fine, but then I did like a lot of hot tent campers do and go out on the angle with the 90. But the problem was since I was in the field and everything, it kept blowing the smoke back in, and it couldn't heat the pipe up to do the draw. So the smoke come in, and you could not even see in the tent with the smoke. So I just had to leave it.
Right.
And then I ended up, there's a stove jack at the very top at the peak.
Uh-huh.
And there's only about one pipe sticking out of the top now with the spark arrestor on it.
Right.
And I just have it in the center. So there's no wind hitting it now. It's just there.
You know, I think you had mentioned it too, but when you centralize your stove and you go with a vertical pipe is at the highest point possible, that seems to be the best position for the stove to operate. But it kind of, you lose space, usable space by moving the stove so far into the tent. But if your tent's large enough and you still got enough usable space, that's the best way to go. Because then you know you're going to get the draw. And a lot of people, they worry about, a lot of people don't put spark arrestors on the tops of their stacks because a lot of times, does yours have a screen on it?
Yeah, it has a little plate that just sits in there.
And it's a screen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people put just a stack cap on it. It's just the cap and there's no screen. Well, the embers will hit that cap and it directs them right back down on the roof of the tent. Mm. And you want to make sure that you have a fine enough screen.
Yeah, it's got the cap. You can either have it any angle you want like that, or it could just be straight up. But I've just kept it there. It's been fine. And there's you go down and then there's the plate there. And the plate, they make sure so people that don't know, they make sure that you have all the pipe set up because it keeps going down and it only fits there. So I can't ever mess up and miss a pipe. Right.
That's why a lot of guys start with the damper pipe on their stove and then they go up because because they'll get it all together and they'll go, it's not fitting. It ain't fitting. Well, no, you got your pipe in the wrong order, dummy.
I guess people complained about the stove because instead of fitting it into each other where it was squeezed or whatever, they'd make it like a kaleidoscope or a telescope.
Right.
They do that and then it just fall back down when they turn the stove on. And it just all the way down. So I don't know what people were thinking, but
yeah. See, and me, fortunately, the hot tents that I've had, I always used standard. I had one homemade stove, and then I had a sheep herder's stove that I'd use in a hot tent. And the sheep herder's was a 6-inch flue, and the homemade one, I used a 4-inch flue in it, and all conventional. It wasn't made by some outdoors wood stove company. It was these were intended for in somebody's log cabin.
Oh.
and I put them in my tent. Everybody said that's too much stove. No, I just burn a smaller fire, dummy. I mean, you could put a huge wood stove in your tent if you wanted, but you can't build a huge fire in it.
Have you seen the ovens that they sell to put on top of like a camp wood stove?
Oh yeah,
Sits on there.
that sit on them.
I was thinking about getting one of those.
Coleman, I don't know if Coleman still makes them, but Coleman
I think they might.
a camp oven that you can set on a Coleman stove or over a fire or on a wood stove.
Well, see, that's how I made my wood stove was out of
and that's what I was just gonna say. And that's what Tyler made a wood stove out of.
Yeah.
And he pieced me off.
They make them now, but they're fancy.
Ovens, and I used it for years to bake bread in at camp. And finally, I quit making. I didn't have to make bread in camp anymore because I didn't have other people in camp. And I thought, what am I ever going to do with that thing? I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I gave it away to somebody. And then I saw he's making a wood stove out of his. And I'm like, damn it, I gave that thing away. That'd make an awesome hot tent stove. I mean, you're just using it in reverse. It's not insulated for a reason, and that's to get all the heat off of a campfire or a camp stove.
I saw that video. What's the hottest you think it got in there?
I would have to say I was pushing close to 90 in there.
Really?
The thing is I forgot my thermometer. I have like a little meat thermometer I was going to take with me, but I forgot it. But I think for my next video, I'll probably go shoot tomorrow. I'm going to start the super shelter build, and I'll take a break in my video and I'll go back in there and I'll get everything fired up, and I'll take the thermometer this time with me, and I'll just show, because right now we're kind of getting a storm coming in. We got snow falling, we've got 40-mile-an-hour winds and about 10 degrees out. So tomorrow will definitely be a good day to test that.
What you should do with that stove, have you seen like those Lavu like hot tents? It's like two ponchos, military, then they button together. I've seen them go for like $60 on eBay for a set of them. I bet you that stove would work good.
Really?
Yeah, they're cheap. It's not my kind of thing because there's no floor, and I'm kind of picky with that, but it'd be perfect for that little oven.
Yeah, I will. You're gonna have to message me about that.
It's made out of what the tent Sty was talking about. It's the same stuff.
The old wax canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 14 ounce or something.
14. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those were 12, but they could have been 14. Those tents I had.
Yeah, it's probably 12. I could try to find one for
you. And I've seen, and I'd have to do some research to find them again, but I've seen. Have you ever? I don't know if you've ever seen them, but a buddy of mine was really big into teepees, and I got to spend almost a month, 21 days in his teepee in the middle of the winter, and that was a blast. I'm telling you, that's winter camping in heaven. I loved it. And I couldn't believe how warm we were actually able to stay. Well, you had a full open fire pit in the middle of the room, right?
I'll be back.
And they've got an inner wall inside the teepee that's vertical. That's about 4.5 feet tall. So it creates that empty airspace between the inside and the outside of the teepee. And he had packed that inner space. He had packed that full of all kinds of prairie grass. So it acted like an insulator all the way around. You have an open pit fire going in the middle of the teepee, and it stayed about 50, 55 degrees in there all the time. It was just awesome. But one of his teepees, he put a wood stove in the thing and ran the pipe all the way up and out the vent flaps of his teepee. And I thought, boy, he's brave having a wood stove in there anywhere near that canvas. And he had this, it was a mix of Kevlar and something else panel that's very extremely fire resistant that he hung behind his wood stove. And that thing would get pretty warm, but it never got flammable hot. And it protected the canvas. You could touch the canvas behind it. It was cool. And I thought, boy, that thing is slick. I gotta find that somewhere. I can't remember where he got it. And it was in the 1980s, for late 80s that he had it. So it's not like it hasn't been around a while, you know. it's some of those old items that guys used to use that I wish I could find,
Right. I threw that link in there, Spicy, if you want to jump up here. I think the whole Bushcraft podcast is
The wind's just
good.
picked up again.
We've been really beating up the bushcraft issues tonight.
Yeah.
Here's an outfit I've been looking at, and I don't know if any of you have seen these guys before, but it's Richie's Artifacts of the West, and they do have a web page you can find. He sells old knives. He collects old knives and puts them back out there for sale, and his prices are to die for. All these knives he's got on here now, I can see a half a dozen of them that I'd love to get as bushcrafted knives, but his knives run anywhere from $20 to $150 of all these knives he's showing here, and they're all originals. They're all original, early 1900s, late 1800s knives, and
Wow.
and he's selling them at the bottom market value. And so,
What's it called? What's the
Richie's
shop called?
Richie's Artifacts of the West. He's out of Fulton, Texas.
I found it.
Yeah, and he's got a
Oh, he's on
email.
Facebook.
Yeah. Seems like quite the outfit. And
Oh wow, he
That-
makes
Yeah,
sheets
Chopper.
too.
they're
I put that.
they're
in there.
advertised in the backwoodsman all the time.
Nice.
Dang,
Yeah.
his last post on Facebook was 2014.
Was it?
Yeah,
Well, he's still active. No, well,
yeah.
not-
I think he's on eBay or
Facebook,
something. I gotta find it.
But this is this month's. This is the most recent backwoodsman, and he's got a full page cover ad. That's the back cover of the magazine.
Well, I gotta find him. River Junction,
So-
maybe. I don't know.
The Oh, and it says here
I think I found
he's
it.
got his address. He's got his address and phone number. Call 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. only.
I found it. It's a River Junction Trade Company.
Oh,
They
there
have-
you go.
They have fur trade collectibles and everything though.
Yeah. I know they're into all kinds of collectibles. See, I saw that ad and I'm going, I know them people. I know them people because my ex-wife and we used to make fur trade items, era items, and Native American the reproductions, peace pipes, tomahawk pipes, Native American breastplates, pipe bags, big otter skin pipe bags my wife used to make were awesome, but they were too expensive for me to ever dream of buying one. They sold for about $1,800, but this guy approached one of my suppliers that I sold our stuff to, and he wanted some of our stuff for his sales. And so when I saw that ad, I'm going, God, that Richie's Artifacts sure is familiar. And now he was one of the guys that had approached one of our buyers. But he
Holy
doesn't
cow.
guarantee anything, and he doesn't accept returns because everything's an artifact. Everything he's selling is old stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just found original 1880 hand sewn elk-hide trousers with beaded pockets. Guess how much? 1880s.
I have no clue.
20.
Troy,
2500.
send me that email again. You have my Instagram account. I did change my Instagram thing to mess with you on there. For some reason, my emails on the one that I have posted, I'm getting like nothing but spam. So all the messages that aren't spam for some reason are getting spam too, and it's pretty much getting automatically deleted. So you could try sending me email again that way, or like I said, if you have me on Instagram, my Instagram is Tyler Wood Bushcraft. Message me on there. It's so much easier than trying to do the 200,000 plus emails that I have right now.
So what do they want for them? About $1,800, $2,000,
$2,500.
$2,500. Yeah. Okay.
From 1880, but it's probably who buys it? It's probably like people that reenact stuff, huh?
So rich reenactors will buy those. Yeah, because you can get a good pair of buckskin pants and have them custom beaded for less than $600 that are brand new, usable.
Yeah,
that's something you put in a glass case and hang on your $2.5 million log home, like the background of Tyler's video here.
Yeah.
I did a reproduction wampum belt from the Blackfoot tribe. They commissioned me to do it, and I sold them that belt for $1,800, and they valued and I had to take all these pictures of the original that they had from, it was like 1810. I think it was 1810 that it had originally been woven, all with trade beads. Wow. And I took all these photos of it, and I asked them, what's that bugger worth? Because they got it in a tribal museum. And they said, it's priceless because it's an artifact. But they said, if it ever was something that could be sold, they said it's probably worth $500,000. I'm like, oh, can I touch it? Can I touch it? No, they'll cut your fingers off. They catch you touching it. But I felt privileged. I got to make that replica wampum belt for it, and it was for one of their tribal princesses to wear during a.
Was it a pain making the beads for it?
The beads, I used glass seed beads. They all had to be glass seed beads, and no, I had to purchase them, and most of them were from France and Italy. Those beads came out of France and Italy. The belt we figured took a little over 14,000 beads for the entire belt.
I've been wanting to get one of like the reproduction ones of what's the money that they trade? Well, like the beads. What was that called?
Wampum.
Yeah, wampum.
Tribes. Yeah.
I want to get one of like where there's like a sheet of it. It's on strings, like they carry it. I've been wanting to get one of those. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made some of those wampum panels where they're just a panel.
Yeah.
A beaded, or else it's a colored porcupine quill panel, and it has leather. It's got leather strips with beads all along the base, or else it's just got fringes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I made several of those.
If you want to make another one, I could get one off you.
Oh, I don't even have the gear to make that stuff anymore. I don't think I got the eyes to make that stuff anymore.
How long would it take to make like one of those panels?
It's about 60 hours worth of work. Yeah. If it's beaded by hand properly.
And then you got to think how long they would originally take to make them. We have to make all the beads and everything.
Well, the Native Americans, you see all this fine beadwork?
Yeah.
None of that existed prior to the white influence.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make little seed beads like that. They didn't make their beads prior to the white trade were large, and a lot of them were made out of seashell, and they would trade. It's amazing how coastal tribes would trade inland, and a lot of that seashell would end up with intercontinental tribes. It would be traded and traded and traded all the way into intercontinental tribes, and they would apply, their artistic side to that seashell when they get their hands on it. And And they did use a lot of native seeds, different types of seeds to make beads out of, and a lot of bone. They used a lot of bone. One thing that the northern tribes, like up here around the Great Lakes, this might sound weird, but they love to make breastplates, necklaces, and the original jingle dresses for the girls. A lot of them were made from coon peckers.
Oh yeah, they use that for moonshine too, right?
Good.
Yeah.
You know, I had a pipe that used a coon pecker for the stem. I mean, you know, people go, oh, what do you mean? Well, they don't realize it's a big, long, thin, hollow bone.
Not being wrong, but they're really strong.
Yeah, and they used to make tribal decorations out of them all the time, and they were considered something to be revered, because can you imagine if you got 50 coon peckers on a breastplate? How many raccoons? How many coons did you have to get to have that breastplate? I mean, yeah, you're a heck of a trapper, aren't you?
I'll have to get one of those for my channel. I'll have to wear one.
There you go. I used to wear a single coon pecker down around my neck, and I used it for packing my pipe, because I left the ball, what we called the ball stem on it, the tail end with the knob on it, left it on mine, and I could use that for packing my pipe. And the odd thing about it is that coon pecker was cut the right length, that it was the exact right amount of black powder for my 32 long rifle that I had, my old black powder flintlock. And so I could take my powder horn, fill that coon pecker, and that's the exact amount of powder I needed per round in that black powder gun. So,
wow.
Yeah, old style.
It's funny how many uses are for them. I've seen them everywhere.
Yeah.
And for moonshine, you have to have it.
Hey, trail trash needs to recharge.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, that's the thing too, is rendezvousers in the old black powder community. They don't much like bushcrafters, and it seems like bushcrafters don't much like them. And I think that is such a shame, because they're both doing the same damn thing. It's just that one loves to pack around black powder. And you talk about going back to the old school survival out in the woods. It's people that pretend they're mountain men, you know. And I did rendezvous for 5 years, I suppose, and it was all the peripheral skill stuff is what really attracted me, not just the black powder. You know, anybody can stand out there and shoot a musket. You know, it's all these other skills. You know, hair on tanning. I was tanning everything hair off. You know, because I just wanted leather for projects, but then my grandfather gave me a beautiful pair of bear hide. They were mittens with that shape like that. You know, so you had these two, and then these three were in their own pouch, and they were bear hide, and the tops of them from your knuckles, from your knuckles to your elbow, the top was covered with the bear hide, with the bear skin fur. Still, it was tan fur on, but the rest of it was, the gauntlet was leather underneath, and the hands were all leather. They were awesome, and I thought, wait a minute, I gotta figure out how to tan hair on, you know. So it's been years since I've done any tanning like that. I think I can still brain tan a deer or an elk. I'd rather do 3 deer than 1 elk. I tell you what, brain tanning an elk hide is a bitch. Oh, that'll give you some arms, though.
I've seen that on Mountain Men. Have you seen? Well, I'm sure you've seen Mountain Men.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. The one that makes all like the knives and everything, and him and Nancy is in it.
Yeah.
I saw one episode. I saw the one episode where he had his scraper.
Yeah.
And he did the whole hide, and then he boiled the brains, but they cut a lot of that out. It's like a minute clip of him doing it. People don't realize it's like hours.
Oh, days.
Yeah.
If you're talking an elk hide, you're talking days and days. I could do a deer hide in about 3 days. I could do a deer hide in about 3 days. An elk hide would take me a week. Especially if it's a large elk. If it's a big bull, it'd take me a good week. And that's not usually counting the smoking, the post tanning and the full smoking of the hides. But I actually like brain tanning deer hides. It's a lot of physical effort, but it's fun. It's a fun process, and to see the end product, you get that soft, smoky smelling, beautifully tan deer hide. It's just to die for. And you start to, all of a sudden you're dreaming, I can make this, I can make that, I can, oh gosh, do I make a pair of pants or do I make a shirt? Or yeah.
I mean, what all could you make out of like one deer hide? Like one pant leg or half a pant, or
and it depends on where you get
anything.
Where you get the deer from. I know the deer in northwestern Montana, a big whitetail buck. I could get a pair of short pants that are kind of like halfway up down from your knee length. I could get a pair of those size pants out of one hide. I could get a shirt out of a hide.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Easily make a poncho style shirt with no sleeves. You could probably make 4 to 6 pairs of moccasins easily out of one hide.
Man, I could have never seen a whole shirt coming out of one.
Yeah, see, and that's it. It depends on where you're at.
It depends. Around here, they're not too big.
Right.
So
see here in Wisconsin, our deer, I'd want 2 hides to make a shirt, and I'd probably want 2 hides to make pants. But with the cuttings off of making them, I'd probably be able to make 4 pairs of moccasins too out of those 2 hides, along with a shirt or a pair of pants. And then with the scraps, you can make a ton.
Looking where to buy one.
What's that?
I've been looking where to buy a deer hide shirt, and I just can't find any websites that do it, especially my size.
I'll have to snoop around somewhere in my stuff.
How about you get 2 deer in your where you're living, and take it down to the smoke room. Do it down there.
Yeah.
I just saw that video you did about the smoke room with the dogs. I think it was a while ago you did the video.
Who?
Was it?
Sty?
One of my videos?
Yeah. It was a while ago, I think.
It probably. I've got almost 500 videos up on my channel. You think I remember all of them?
Well, you said you had enough of society that day because they had no dogs were allowed to go into the smoking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got a shack outside our building here, and then they were going to ban dogs out of our shack. Smokers can't have their dogs in the shack. One might growl at an old lady and scare her. Now I remember that video.
Did they ever change that?
Yeah. Now the dogs can be in there, and all the dogs love Sty, because I show up with my pockets full of doggy treats. Anybody that's got a dog, their dog gets a doggy treat. Them dogs see me coming through the building, and they all start whining, and they're looking at me, and their owner's got to let their dog come over to see me and get a doggy treat. That's yeah.
That'll be their next rule: no doggy treats.
Yeah, to me, dogs are even funner than little kids. You know, you want to spoil them. So I can't right now. I can't have a dog, so I'll spoil you theirs. I'm going to get me though. I'm going to get me a Pomsky. It's probably going to be about a year before I can get one, but I'm getting a Pomsky, one of them little miniature huskies. So I want one of them tiny little huskies. Can't have a big dog here, so yeah, I'll have a little miniature husky. That'll be funny. And I can take them with hiking, camping, stuff his butt in my coat or under my arm or in the pack when I'm out in the summer. Yeah. Yeah, my last 2 dogs were lap dogs, and they went with me everywhere in the woods. Both of them. I mean, I took 20-mile hikes with those little lap dogs, and they held up great. They loved going hiking and camping. Yeah.
Well, it is getting late, guys. Yeah,
it is.
I'm getting tired.
I just realized, my gosh, 20 after 12, Tyler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's 1:20 here.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm usually up till 3 though.
That's see, I'm usually up till about between 2 and 4 a.m. Then if I sleep in, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. That's a sleep in. And that'll usually mean I get 6 hours of sleep. But yeah, you know, at a point you just go like, Now, if we were on a campfire, Tyler, out at camp, we wouldn't care, right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah. But we're soft.
So I got stuff to get done tomorrow, and then I got to try to somehow start building this super shelter tomorrow too. And you know how that goes with trying to get everything on film. It's just going to be a long process. So
that's it. And I know you probably feel like I do when I'm out doing projects that I got to film it all. I just got to film it all. And then you start going, oh, batteries ain't going to make it. I should have done a lot of cuts. And
it sucks when it's cold out because it does kill batteries like quick.
It does.
This camera is, you know, it's a good one. And I have 3 batteries. I can run a whole day on one battery if I don't film too much. Like I've done 3 videos on one battery, but on a cold day, when I have it on the tripod in the field, it dies in like half an hour.
See, my Vixia 800, one full battery, I can strap that on the back of my kayak on a nice summer day, and I can get I get about 3 hours and 20 minutes of straight video running constantly for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow.
I can go out in the winter and I get 1 hour out of that battery. Less than a third of the time as in the summer. So yeah, I always carry 2 to 3 spares for that camera with me, because
I always try to keep it in my pocket because the one I have is like a pocket-sized camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I always just instantly put it back in my pocket. And the battery does, you know, it goes back up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of warmth goes a long ways.
Well, you're fine, AK Hawaii. We're shutting her down now. It's getting late. We got stuff to do tomorrow morning. So everyone who stayed in here for the last almost 4 hours now, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
As always, Sty, it's always good to have you up here. And Nicholas Green, you know, like Sty says, you got keys to the shack whenever you want to come up. So that key goes to this shack right here too. So
yeah, you just tell me when you want me up. You don't have to have me up. I love being in the audience too. It don't matter to me.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so I just like hanging out with you, giving you all the watch hours I can. So hey, bud, I'm gonna step down then, and you guys have a good night, what's left of it, eh? Nick, it's been a blast. I thank you, Tyler, for introducing me to Nick. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a guy I would have loved to have had in my camp, and I would have told him, "You don't get to go home. You're apprenticing. You're going to get my camp when I retire." Because I could see him heading down that road. I could see him. I think he'd be a great camp leader at a bushcraft camp someday. Yeah,
Thanks.
Yep, absolutely.
So, you two, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon, okay? Good night, everybody in the chat. Take care.
All right, it was nice. It was nice being on.
Yep. Sorry that the guest kind of
Nah,
bailed out tonight. I don't know really what's going on. I don't know if they fell asleep or got busy. I'm sure when you kind of got that certain kind of fame and stuff, your life gets a little hectic. I mean, here I'm sitting at 2,300 subscribers, and there's some days that I don't have time to do anything. So it happens. There's always next week. We'll try then.
yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out. Love your channel. Anyone that doesn't have Nicholas Green Outdoors, I'm sure you all do. Check his channel out. If you don't, he's got awesome stuff. So
Thanks.
I will see you guys next time. Bye. We will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Merry Christmas, or if this is late, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and God bless all of you.